for people who haven't worked with people who are younger, it sort of gives like gives you a sense of respect uh for people who are young, and they are responsible and can take care of business when it really needs to get done. And then there's some other things that are more difficult. Like I think there's always like a sort of like give and take. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so I've
Um,
posted the QGG link in
Perfect.
VODs. And
Okay.
are we expecting anyone else?
There are a couple people who are playing Overwatch right now, so I'm just like, hey, can you?
Uh,
Yeah, ping
hey
him, get
guys.
him in here.
Deputy and Weeb aren't going to be available.
Yeah, Deputy would be here. I already know. I know him too well.
Yeah, he messaged me like 20 minutes ago saying he had some family stuff come up.
Oh,
So
okay, hope everything's all right.
yeah, he had to leave our scrim last night, like
Oh
after
no.
the two. What was it last night? No, it was this. I can't remember which one it was. He had to leave one of the scrims. I think it's there. It's a thing where it's like like an older relative who is
Uh,
possibly
in
dying
critical
soon.
condition.
Yeah, so they had to run down to where they live for a bit, and
Gotcha, gotcha. All right. Well, I
and
hope
so
everything's all
I
right there.
think I think that's still currently going on.
Okay. All right. Well,
But
yeah, send him my best if you get a chance to talk to him.
yeah,
Um,
Nexus was playing earlier. I guess Sky doesn't need to be here. She's not in this VOD, but
okay, so we're looking at Dorado. You guys are
yeah,
defending first.
I should record this actually. Hang on.
Red Barrel. I'm streaming it.
You're streaming it? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll
Red
send you the
Barrel
VOD.
is me.
Yeah, so we
You
have
don't
Barrel on
say.
main tank.
I'm
Uh,
just
okay.
double checking, dude.
Phobia is the off support that we tried out. I offered them the position. They're just doing some other trials first, so we'll know
Okay.
soon.
Okay, and
The nice thing
then
is Lazy
Nexus
is
is
able
already
to
on the
come
team,
support.
right?
Yeah, Nexus. The only ones who are new are Barrel and Phobia.
Okay. So gameplay wise, what are you guys sort of concerned with right now? Like in terms of like it could be specific to this map, or it could be like sort of more generally composition based, or specific aspects of the team dynamics that you're trying to work on. Obviously, you have two new players, so there's going to be synergy that you're looking to develop, I'm sure. But is there anything outside of that that specifically you kind of want me to look for?
Um, I think I think it's a thing where when we can get the game going the way that we want it to, we can fucking dominate them.
What does that mean?
Um, our last so if
Like
they
like
let us
the first part, the getting the game the way you
if
want it
we are
to.
able to if we're able to get into a position where we are taking the initiative,
Are you sure?
we
Yeah.
usually we usually like have just like we get really oppressive about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um like especially like we've been doing a lot more not quite bunker but a lot more like Orisa Hog stuff, but not really with a Bastion. But just
Mm-hmm.
like DPS comps using Orisa Hog and playing pick comps more or less.
Okay.
And so we've been playing that the last couple of weeks, and we can get just like really oppressive damage like going in.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've been doing a lot of that.
Yeah, the
Uh,
meta's definitely shifting, and for teams like yours, I think you're sort of well positioned to move forward with some strong compositions potentially.
yeah, that was always the stuff that we were better at, I think, and now we're not being like punished for wanting to play it.
Mm-hmm.
So so that's been nice.
I s- my heart of hearts tells me still that goats is the way to go on third here, but
Have you been watching the stage 3 playoffs?
dude, the stage three playoffs are a shit show right now. Okay, like I saw Titans running slambulance on Havana. Okay, like
Yeah, you know what?
don't
Slambulance was
tell
the
me, don't talk to me about goats, because that's not, they made some weird choices that I don't think were justifiable in any meta.
Hey, you should watch the rest of it because Slambulance is literally the only time that they got any progress, and that's why.
Well, it's because it's the only thing they know how to play.
I'm sorry. What's
The only thing they know how to play
Slambulance?
is goats. What are you talking about? They are the goats
Well, I
team.
know, and so they go tank heavy lineup, right? Because they tried DPS comp and it didn't work, so they had to go something basically tank support only, and they made some progress just by pure physical mass. Slambulance is quad tank Moira Lucio.
Yeah, for after Moira came out, everybody was like, "Oh, this is the meta" for like a week or two, and then everybody decided no, it's really not. Um, I think Shanghai was actually one of the first people to play it in Owl last year. They used it on Horizon and like rolled through. Um, yeah, the basic idea is it's a lot like goats in that the point is you have Lucio speed them in, and you just have four like beefy tanks and Moira pumping heals into them and the orb and everything, and
It
you
was
just run into them.
pre-goats basically because it like the
Yeah,
whole it ran on the premise of hey, we have more HP than you, and so we're just gonna trade damage and win.
It
and then
essentially
Okay.
died when Moira's healing no longer went through barriers.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that really hurt. Um,
And it
yeah, and
really
then
died when
goats.
Lucio lost the ridiculous speed amp.
Yeah,
I
when
miss
they cut
those
it down.
days.
Me too,
Um,
dude.
yeah. Uh,
Uh,
Goats
okay.
is basically the same kind of thing, but with a better like win condition plan of like we build up these ults and then use these
Armor,
ults as we rotate these ones and armor. Yeah.
armor. Yeah, armor's
Um,
massive. Okay, so also a character that has a hidden damage resistance that no one decided to look into.
yeah.
Uh,
Like how did that even?
How do they get past QA?
yeah,
I
I don't
just
know.
the fact that that was not even like part of the discussion from day one is
Hmm.
phenomenal.
Well, that's why stuff like the workshop is good. It makes things more transparent. People can sort of take the hood
I guess
off of the
that's
game.
why. Is it just that Blizzard never said anything about it?
What do you mean?
It may have gone
Yeah,
unnoticed.
I think I don't think they noticed it. I don't think they knew.
Do you think
Hmm.
even Blizzard didn't know?
Correct. Yeah, I don't think they knew.
So it was just a bug that was there.
Correct.
What,
Yeah.
dude? The moment videos came out about it, it got patched out like the
Yeah,
next
they
day.
hot fixed it. So like it's very clear that it was unintended. And they're pretty
So
honestly they're pretty good about
so for
fixing
like
stuff that's obviously OP.
so for like a year, the meta was dominated by a bug that Blizzard had just missed.
That wasn't
No.
the sole reason goats
Yeah, it
worked.
was like
It wasn't the sole
the
reason, but
way
but
armor
it helped.
worked and
It
there was a
helped.
lot of stuff.
But it helped.
Oh, of course it helped. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, definitely. Okay, sorry. So I don't want to
Yeah.
dominate this with a discussion about stuff that's not related to your team. So let's
Oh
open
yeah.
this
So
map up.
basically, yeah. So basically, the thing that I think we struggle with is
Hello?
when we do come up against
Initiative.
a team that does play like very aggressively.
So your goal is, or like, so your idea is how do we keep initiative?
Yeah. How do we keep it like when we do come up against a team that does play extremely aggressively?
Uh-huh.
How do we still like how do we catch that basically without buckling
Uh,
and
okay, I mean honestly, like I can tell you like right off the bat, it's gonna go boil down to your calling. Like you need to make sure that you guys all know what you're doing before you go in and that you can identify what's going wrong quickly enough. So what I'm gonna be looking for in the comms is that you guys are starting your fight calling as soon as the fight is over, and how good the team's problem solving is and how good you guys are at adjusting. Because like basically anytime I see you guys going into a a fight without a clear idea of what your main tank is doing, what the pathing is looking like, what ults are going to be used on you, and how you play around it, then you are basically just walking and giving up that fight to the enemy team. So if that happens, it's gonna like I'm gonna point it out there, but that is a problem, and that's what you're gonna be looking, or that's what you should be looking to deal with through your comm structure. So give me one more second. Sorry, I had to go earlier to put coffee on. Now I have to get the coffee. I will be back in just 1 second.
unbelievable. Coffee is such a pain in the ass.
Such an inconvenient
Yeah,
addiction to have at this current point in
it
time.
really is. I feel like I've saved so much money by just not really ever getting into coffee. When I
I,
see like,
I would say the same for cigarettes, honestly.
yeah, same. Yeah, smoking, coffee, and drinking are probably the three things I'm the happiest I never got into because when I see how much money people go through
Say
smoking
Drinking?
more
coffee.
than anything, like cigarettes are so expensive.
I love the fact that I can just drink casually.
Yeah, I just never liked the taste, and I've never been like into being drunk at all. So it's never been a thing where I've even wanted to, and it's just been very nice.
Okay, I'm
Fair enough.
finally back. Let's get this started.
So I picked this map specifically because this was the closest map of the night.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
I
a good
muted
one.
myself because I was expecting.
I'm
I don't
yeah,
think
I
that's a good
personally
job.
love this map, and it's actually a
okay.
map that I just started working on
Anyway, yeah,
with
bunker
desync.
time. Let's go. I like it a lot.
I've been
It's
running
also
on
in our
defense,
map pool.
maybe.
I have an idea on a
Let's run
streets comp
bunker,
that we're going to be trying on
Sim,
desync, and I
Uber,
think you
or
guys might
Ash,
want to try
whichever
it too.
one
I'll
feels
make the
the most right
recommendation
now.
based on how you guys play it.
I would be very into it. Oh yeah, this is the day
And
Deputy
it's
had
not
to leave, right?
goats.
Because
That's why.
we have Weeb on off tank. Yeah, this is when Deputy had to leave. Okay.
Panning like Overwatch League through the
I-
map.
just because we haven't had somebody who's.
I don't know. I think I was spectating this one.
You were. We had Phobia playing with me on this one,
I-
and then
I love the level design
Phobia.
of Overwatch.
Oh, the maps are
Yeah.
beautiful. They're all beautiful.
Yeah, they're so detail oriented.
You know what though? Something I have noticed is that since the Overwatch League has come out, the maps have changed. They're so much easier to spectate now in third person. Since all maps that have come out after the Overwatch League, there's no stuff like or at least from memory, there's no stuff like the Lighthouse Ilios where it's like that little tiny room. Like
Second point of Havana is really annoying. The low ceiling. All
oh,
the stuff
yeah, I was gonna say
around.
the low. You can't get over the walls, or can you?
Or you can, but then you're just staring at the roof.
Right.
Second point Paris is pretty difficult to spectate just because they're always going through the side rooms and it's hard to.
Well, yeah, but then there's that huge
But
open
the
space
point
where
itself
the
is open.
yeah.
Yeah.
Second point Havana is a pain in the ass to spectate because I've been watching it back on replays.
Okay, so they
And
are
gameplay.
running Element Mystic, which I think is super cool. You
Oh, yeah,
guys
and
are
The
running.
Hack Fist.
They're doing the hack fist.
Yeah, you guys are running Baptiste Bunker, which isn't awful here.
I think we were expecting them to go a certain comp and they ended up not doing it.
Goats.
No, that's what got us here.
Did you?
Were they a goats team?
I mean,
Yes, they were a goats
They
team
were a
before.
goats team. Okay, yeah.
even still though, the thing you should be keeping in mind is that no one's really gonna run goats here anymore, just because like chances are the other team's gonna be running something pretty DPS heavy. I mean, I don't know. We run goats here on defense, but I also think that you guys kind of get picked apart by DPS comps. Just because there's so many flank routes here. So that's something you got to be keeping in mind. I'm not saying that. I mean, I personally, I think Orisa is a good call here. It's more so just the Bastion than anything else.
That's fair.
And I worry
only
that you guys lack a sort of like long-term win condition with these support ults. I guess like what this really relies on is you, Adustus, sort of like making sure you get your amplification field like basically every other fight at least.
Baptiste builds it so goddamn fast.
Yeah, I think
Right.
yeah they I think they'll probably nerf it in a couple patches, but for now it's kind of the way you have to play Baptiste. So the things that are really important for you is to, I mean, so like the team already needs to know basically what the places you guys are going to be falling back to, and they should all be places that abuse the uh, the amplification or his immortality field. So like places that I'm thinking of obviously
You need
are
walls and corners.
yeah. There's what you can throw it around that corner there, right? Like up
Yeah,
against the
that's
wall,
really-
so that these
a really
guys don't
good
have
spot.
LOS on it, and these guys also don't have LOS on it. You just have to be careful that it doesn't force you guys into a position where you're playing so far up that you get booped off and split, which is the real worry here that I would have. Because honestly, like I'm kind of expecting them to have a Pharah if I'm you guys.
Yeah.
Another place, if you guys fall back, of course, is the obvious lamp here. And inside here. That's a really good one. And basically anywhere along the left side, I think those are all good places to be putting your immortality field, and just abusing the shit out of that. I think Widow's fine here. I think Diva's also good here. And yeah, so I think honestly, with the exception of maybe the Bastion, I think everything looks pretty good. But I think this has a clearly defined win condition. Hey, you see what's up, dude?
Counter.
I'm counter.
Just headshot the Doomfist.
Forehead. Let me headshot that dude.
He's going far left, which means he saw me.
Wait, so Weeb is playing off tank for you guys right now? Subbing?
Yeah, Deputy's gone. So when we came out of the team, he was actually on as an off tank and not as a DPS.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
but we had some DPS leave, and he was a really good DPS, so we just moved him over to DPS.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm back.
But he still can off tank pretty well.
Burn shield, burn shield.
What are they doing? That Reinhardt.
Ryan low.
Yeah.
Soaking up
That's
damage.
my
man.
bad.
Backing up to point.
Burn shield, burn shield.
Actually, hold on. I need to bring this up a little earlier.
See if we can counter the counter. I'm counter the counter. Just headshot the Doomfist.
Forehead.
Let me headshot that Doomfist.
He's going far left, which means he saw me.
Okay, I was wondering where that came out. So the thing, Red Barrel, you have to be keeping in mind is that as soon as they see what you guys are running, they're gonna fucking run. Like they're gonna go back until they get a strategy and then come back out. So try not to throw halts out around blind corners, but rather like wait for them to sort of commit onto payload so that you can just keep them in place. Because that's all you need to do. You don't need to pull anyone out. You don't need to separate anyone. You just literally need to hold someone there so your Bastion can shit on them.
Okay.
He's heading back.
Okay.
Burn
See,
shield,
like
burn
right
shield.
here. Like what I was thinking of is like having a halt right here would be so nice. Because that Reinhardt is like in the middle of nowhere. He's basically dead.
Ryan low.
That's my bad.
Backing up.
We didn't have anyone scout the Sombra, did we?
I don't think so. Yeah, we weren't spy checking well.
And at this point, you guys should already have pressed tab, identified the composition, and have some sort of plan of what you're going to do about EMP, what you're going to do about Grav, what you're going to do about Doomfist. So these are the things that allow you to maintain initiative. Like you need to be planning that stuff out like super early. Your shot caller needs to be thinking about it. The rest of the team needs to be thinking about it. What do we do? Bottom line, what do we do when they get into EMP territory? So I want you to be thinking about that now, actually, just as an exercise. And I don't like where Phobia is right now. Because if you
Yeah.
guys need to make a fast rotation for some reason, then Phobia has to fly over some open space, which isn't a huge problem against this composition, but just in general, it's not super good practice. I don't really see a reason for Phobia not to be here.
Ryan low.
That's my bad.
Yeah, this is was Weeb the one who said that's my bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Weeb's bad.
Backing up to point. You're doing hack.
That's really unlucky.
Fizz.
So next time, Adustus, what I want you to do is stay here, wait for everyone to rotate.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone does get knocked down, because that's really what you need to be looking out for. Like you need to be there to throw immortality.
Okay.
And then the
somebody gets
team,
knocked down, immortality to.
yeah, and then honestly, like drop your Orisa down, just fucking go all in on them. Because like if you lose your Bastion here, I don't really know what your chances are. I mean, I think you get a second fight, but at the same time, like if you guys keep running, there's a chance that if they push hard enough, they continue to kill you guys, and you don't get a second fight.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Okay, so you.
Sorry.
Oh, did the bat? Wait, I was wondering if the Doomfist punched him back up so that he could be rezzed on high ground. No, doesn't look like it. And you're gonna. Nice job, Red Barrel.
Invuln stairs. Oh,
Unlucky.
God,
Had to use he had to use Fortify early because he was getting pushed so hard, so he didn't have it for the anti.
Yeah. At this point, it's.
Yeah, you guys are just getting picked apart here. Okay, so the call
Not enough, but he's weak. He's weak again.
call
He's pushing point.
call needed to be like reset like a year ago, and this is just going to be feeding alt charge to their team. This is not a good res.
Himself, Lucio dead.
Yeah, we're not winning this fight.
Yeah. Like you weren't winning this fight as soon as you lost your Bastion.
Sorry.
Nexus.
Because if you think about it, it's one Widow versus a Sombra and a Doomfist. Like,
Batman.
Doom literally won.
Get him, Nexus.
what the fuck?
Go.
Yeah, this is a feed. This is you guys. This is okay. So this is exactly what I was talking about, right? Like, You guys didn't get a second
God,
fight
God,
because there was no reset
no,
call. You guys need to be calling
Sombra always has these angles on
resets.
I
What's
don't
up, Blue? How you doing?
realize them.
Yeah,
That's kind of my bad.
Yes, cat. I know.
Where are we
100%.
setting up right now? And why is it not the high ground? Because we thought we could contest, right?
I think that's what it was.
Is that right, Beryl?
Yeah. So
Okay.
the call was is that I at least wanted to hold the corner and prevent. I wanted to at least set up corner while we had initiative because I knew that they were all on cart.
Okay. So I have a question for you guys. How would you play around EMP? This is a question that we had to deal with on desync after a scrim of getting completely fucking destroyed by Somber Goats over and over and over again.
I mean, on a map like this, they have the only people that can get up there are Sombra and Doomfist if
Up
we take the
where?
high ground.
Okay, high ground.
Up to the high ground. Yeah, so
Uh-huh.
if we stay up there, they can't. I guess Lucio could move us down, but that keeps the Rhine and Zarya damage off us unless we get knocked down if we're up
Mhm.
there.
So, in general, I would say there are a couple different ways to deal with EMP. So, one is going to be your positioning. So, in general, if you can maintain high ground, that's number one. Like, this is number one. If they have EMP and you're holding defense, especially defense, you need to be taking high ground to limit their engagement potential, because that's what it requires, right? I mean, they still have Doomfist, which is probably their win condition, which is still viable even if they do EMP you guys up there. Because Doomfist just goes up there, they nano him in, he gets bubble. He probably kills one or two people. He maybe uses ult to clean up the rest, but he probably doesn't need to. Their Sombra gets to like 60% charge, cleaning up the rest of the team. Then they can EMP you guys when you recontest into the open space here. So the open space here is really rough for you guys. You need to make sure that the fight is either happening up here on A or B. Just because of the fact that EMP is going to be so destructive for you guys if you're on low ground. And I'm glad you guys got off of Bastion and have McCree. I think that's good. But also, yeah. So I think the call here, and it should be almost always Barrel when you're on Orisa. Like, if they have it at, I'm trying to think. If they have it to, I would say if they have it past the bridge when you die on first, chances are you should be thinking about whether or not you need to be setting up here when you come back. Because that means you're going to be fighting it when the payload's here, best case scenario. And unless you guys have like some killer ults to use, which you guys don't, you're going to feed and just continue to get snowballed in the fight. Because then what that means is they're going to take the high ground when they win the fight here, and you're not going to be able to take it back from them nearly as easily. I think a lot of the times it makes more sense just to be conservative when you have Orisa, take the high ground here, and give them that first point. It's just like, give it to them, don't feed more ult charge, and allow yourself to be in a winning position on streets rather than take a losing fight here. And kind of continue to handicap yourself the rest of the map.
Okay.
Sombra's a lot to handle.
But let's see what happens here. Okay, so actually, shot calling exercise, Adustus, what's going to happen here to you guys?
What's gonna happen here?
Okay, first of all, I'm not
Um,
hearing any ults being tracked.
Yes.
That's a problem.
Yes.
We should probably assume that they mostly have everything, especially Sombral, especially Nano, probably Shatter, and probably Doomfist ult, honestly. But the other two, like, it's Zarya, and their Rhine has, you guys don't have a composition that like is really like engagement heavy, so like Zarya is probably not going to get a lot of close range damage for Grav Charge, and then Lucio, who knows? Maybe SB, maybe not, but we're not really worried so much about that because it's sort of more of a reactive ult anyways. So how would you like so the first step in this as a shot caller is figuring out where stuff is going to be happening. So they have EMP, they have Shatter. Don't worry about Shatter because we know, it's kind of opportunistic in the first place. It's kind of silly to plan around. But EMP, how is that going to happen? Where is it going to happen? Based on where you guys are setting up.
It's gonna happen. I mean, it's gonna happen right on top of the tanks.
Yeah, but like,
Um,
what's the pathing going to look like? Sort of like what,
she's gonna flank from behind. She's probably gonna go through the building. Um, yeah, she's probably gonna go building on the left side, scout us and see where everybody is, and catch as many of us in the hack as possible, but especially the front line.
Okay, and so here, why don't you show me the pathing that Sombra's going to take on here? Because I think you can take control of it.
Sure. So yeah, if I were her, go through here
Okay.
and either go through here or around the back to check for late spawns.
Okay.
But either way, it would come from behind to see who's vulnerable here.
Sure.
You think she'll just go straight at us?
I think she will go up in the high ground and get right up here.
Yeah.
Scout, and then drop EMP on top of you guys.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So if that's so okay, I mean either way, we know this building is going to be critical here. So first of all, the very first thing. Okay, so what can we do about any of this? We know this building is going to be critical. What can we do about this? What are some of the things we can do?
If we fell back and took the high ground, we could reduce her scouting potential.
Sure. No, I definitely agree. I think taking the high ground was the right move here. But given where you guys are now, what can we do? What are some things we can do?
We could use Venom Mine to kind of track one of the doors.
Okay.
Like we could check the choke that she would have to come through to get into the room on the like around on this side.
Okay.
So that way we'll know when she hits there.
What else?
We also could potentially pop Visor just to track her for a while.
Yes. It is literally like the one ult that counters EMP because it's preemptive. You zone Sombra. I mean, there's a good chance she'll just drop it on you guys anyways because there's not much you can do. But if
we'll
your
know when it's
McCree's kind of
happening.
like can see her, like, what can she do really? So you need to be using Visor here to counter and zone their Sombra and use that opportunity to get chip damage in and build the rest of your ults. Because as I was saying before, the one thing that you want to be doing is establishing high ground. So versus EMP, high ground. And then 2, low cost tempo oriented ults. So you want to be committing ults early to the fight and getting value in such a way that their Sombra either has to choose to reactively EMP or waits for the next fight. And what that means is you guys get an entire fight's worth of ult charge because she didn't EMP you guys on that fight. And so sites will allow you to do that, right? Because as soon as she gets close, like, okay, well, if we have some ult here, I'm just gonna drop it. Now, what do you think falls into this category based on the heroes that you guys have? And I don't know if tempo oriented sort of makes sense. I have a very specific idea of what tempo means, but like if you think about
Tempo makes sense to me.
What?
Yeah. Tempo basically means like tempo isn't the stuff that like wins you the fight or is critical or is the win condition, but tempo is what gets you to those win condition.
Yeah. It's
Stuff.
like the thing that allows you to push in or keep someone from pushing in. So it's like, like let's say like your Orisa gets chunked in the head. That's a huge tempo loss, right? Because now they can start pushing.
about like controlling the pace,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. Pace-oriented ults. And so what do you guys have in your arsenal that's
Probably the most
robust to
likely for
EMP?
that. Well, visor is that because it puts off an engagement.
In a sense, I don't think sites are tempo oriented so much, but the fact they have a very
I
specific
think they're
use
low
of.
cost at least.
Yeah, true. But the fact I think it's more just they kind of categorically I think it falls in maybe a different category, or or a different utility
It's like a
category. Yeah,
situational.
like but
It's more like a situational thing than.
it's a good ult to use. I 100% agree that you should pop sites here, but
Okay.
what are the other
I think
ones?
I think Valk is pretty tempo.
Yeah,
Uh, Bongos can be tempo.
I was gonna say bongos. It just depends on the placement.
yeah, because it potentially gets knocked out, right,
Yeah.
by
Exactly.
EMP.
But
However,
a
if we
lot of
do
people
enough
will
damage to their
LMS it.
shield, if we do enough damage to their
Agreed.
shield, that could be huge.
Yeah, it requires a positional commitment from them that I think would be unwise. But yeah, if they're in a position where they can't get away from you and like their Sombra has EMP and you can get value from Bongo at that moment, fucking pop that shit. Like 100% pop that shit. What else though?
Uh,
So it's like
Deadeye, I
sorta.
guess. I don't know. Deadeye's
Kinda.
weird. I guess it's more situational
So
than anything.
what I'm saying though is that these are the ults that you want to be using
The positioning.
preemptively. So it's like I pop this ult before EMP comes out and it's gonna make her have a shitty EMP. Do you think
That's
that
fair.
High Noon falls into that category?
No, she can hack him out of it,
Right.
and
And in fact, it's probably worse because he doesn't have flashbang up.
although if he stays out of the EMP, it could be a good counter to it
Well,
if he's far back enough.
I guess. Yeah, I guess.
Depends.
Honestly though, I think you kind of want him close.
Yeah, it wouldn't be tempo though. Yeah.
I agree though, if he was like up on high ground or something by himself and
I don't think Nano.
he
I don't think
like
Nano.
popped High Noon while the whole team got EMP'd, he could zone them and keep them from going in, but at the same time, like in most situations they're probably going to be running a Widow here and she's probably just going to fucking knock his
That's
shit
fair.
out.
That's fair.
But I agree. I think that's an option, and I like that you're you're going through all of your options here. It's good to have multiple angles at this. But what else
I
here?
did. Okay. As far as EMP counters go, Shanghai was doing something really interesting that I hadn't seen people do before, and I thought this was fascinating because they were running into a lot of somber comps over the last couple of days,
Mm-hmm.
and they were running the comp that they've been running is either Orisa or Ball as solo tank, depending on like what they were doing,
Yeah,
and then Widow, Pharah, uh,
on a mercy.
Doomfist, and then Ana Mercy.
Yeah.
And so what they were doing to counter EMP is they were having Luffy, their Ana, they were having him sit out of range of the EMP.
Yes.
And
Yes.
when EMP would go off, they would nano the Pharah,
Yes.
and the Pharah would be putting out so much damage that they just couldn't push in and get any value out of the EMP.
That's interesting that it's going on the
and
Pharah.
and it was like that was, but it worked. Like watch
Oh yeah.
watch their Volskaya against the Titans.
No, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think. Oh no,
And I think it's
Titans.
really
I was thinking of the
situational,
shock.
but,
I was thinking of the shock. Um,
the shock, yeah.
the
But
shock
like
fucking
that's
threw
what I thought was
first in
fascinating, just
Volskaya.
because I hadn't thought of using nano in that way before.
Yes.
But
Okay.
yeah, you can put it on Roadhog or Orisa as well, and it also helps.
Yeah,
But
I think you put it. I think you probably put it on Orisa here with your composition. I think Fair is an option. I think the reason you maybe put it on your Farah there is so that your Mercy, like, so that you can double pocket your tanks if they're getting pushed, and your Farah also, with pocketing, survives the barrage most likely, as long as they
yeah,
don't have like anti or sleep or like some other kind of
well,
CC.
a lot of times they wouldn't even pop it, but she would just be putting out so much damage that
Yeah,
they couldn't push through the area.
yeah, because she's what she's
It would
dealing
stop.
180
Yeah, it would
direct.
stop them from engaging because if she hits them with one of those rockets, they get killed by chip damage like immediately.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
So, and yeah, I guess maybe it's probably position specific and map specific, but Nano
yeah,
is going to be your tool 100% of the time. You should always have Nano every time they have EMP. That is very, very, very important. We got fucking destroyed by that Sombra comp that I was telling you guys about until I sat down with Aves and I told him, you need to Nano our main, like, so a lot of times we'd be running Winston and Ana into Sombra,
Winston
And
is so scary with Nano, man.
yeah, like, so I told him every single time that they're about to engage and you know they have EMP, just put Nano on Winston. They're not going to have an answer for it. They're going to have to EMP either you guys and Winston can zone them or just fucking kill everybody. Or if they're going to wait and then we get to clean their team up. But having like Nano Winston, like just fucking dumping that shit, like now it's like Abe's autoplay. Like for him, it's like it works 100% of the time. He's very like that. As soon as he started doing it, we started getting better results. So Nano is going to be the big one. Obviously, you don't have it online right now, but if you pop sites, maybe we zone the Sombra long enough for you to build it up.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you need to be communicating that to your Roadhog so that he's not healing himself, because Whole Hog is kind of worthless against this. Because
fair.
he gets slept, punched, hacked, like any number of things. So him using vape to heal himself for ult charge is not the move. So these guys are good, and this is what allows you to get there. So that's sort of the stuff that we can talk about now, so that hopefully the next time you guys are in this situation, you have a plan before you even come out of spawn of what you want to be doing.
It's something I just need
We're
to
gonna have sites
think
on
through better with when it comes to like all of our
Yeah.
comps is, you know, what is
Almost
the
have a
plan
super
for getting to
charger?
each ultimate? What are we going to use it for?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Nano in general,
Besides
Nano
comes
for Sombra,
Watch for shatter. Watch for shatter.
and there it is. There you go. Yep.
I think Nexus wasn't back. Yeah, Nexus wasn't back yet.
I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter. You guys are losing this fight anyways.
Yeah.
The classic.
And we pop sites. That's kind of unfortunate. And why is there Sombra not farming ult charge on you guys?
They're expecting bunker at this point. Artificial swap runs alright.
Where's their Sombra?
That's with Reinhardt?
The
a
Doom
good
around
question.
me and a Lucio.
Oh, there she is.
I definitely don't get out of here.
No.
No.
Where is she?
What's the counter here?
I don't know. She's not. She should be farming EMP on you
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
Okay,
She's like
on the high ground
playing
now.
way too passively. She should have just been playing with the
I'll
Reinhardt
go cover.
farming.
Is she just scouting?
Yeah,
I think she was just trying to establish high ground. Yeah, she threw.
Am I dead?
There's no way you guys hold here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not. Well,
Yeah, there's ours.
Yeah.
Ours,
Well,
ours.
maybe.
Ours,
Let's pick.
Mm,
I honestly can't
And under
remember.
There's
arch, and under arch.
They lost their Rhine and they pushed in. Yeah, you guys hold here. Nice.
Got the Ana.
They misplayed, but you guys did a good job punishing them.
Hell yeah.
You shouldn't have
Hey, man,
killed
we don't
them.
need to be
There's
good.
you should not
We
have
don't
killed
need
their
to be good, they just
Lucio.
need to be bad.
Die, man. Lucio was in.
Yeah, you could have kept him alive
I didn't
indefinitely,
take Ana from you, sorry.
especially with sleep dart and hook.
Sombra left side.
You guys need to be taking this high ground like right now,
Yeah.
Like,
Somewhere.
and just making sure that you. It's hard because you don't have a
I think,
diva.
I think the concern with it is that
They
if
back
she
cap.
does start, yeah, if she does start back capping, we don't
But
have
even
the
still,
mobility to,
like hold up there,
yeah, we could hold point B or not point B, but like we could hold that B area that you
like
marked
right
for.
next to bank. Yeah, exactly.
They're all top left.
And then you can just rotate back and forth. Like, look at where the payload is. Like, you guys would be up here, and the payload is right here. There's no way they back cap that if you guys are watching this.
Boy, Nexus is playing an aggressive McCree.
I really feel like. Hold on, let me listen to the comms here.
Got the Ana.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Phoebe, if you want
Die,
to.
man.
Lucio was in.
Yo, look at that arrow right through his
I didn't mean to take Ana from you, sorry.
Wait, Beryl, can you talk for a second so I can hear your voice?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, thank you.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Phoebe, if you want
Die,
to.
man.
Lucio was
Die.
in.
Yo, look at that arrow right through his
I didn't mean to take Ana from
Okay, Beryl, what I think you need to be doing here is taking more control over the team's positioning in between fights. So, as a main tank, I think you probably have instincts over like where you think are strong positions for you to hold, especially since you're a Risa and you're kind of immobile. So you should take control of that and put the team in places where you think are powerful. So like
Okay.
you should be rotating the team in between fights and telling them where to set up. Like for every fight, you should be the one setting them up.
you, sorry.
And in general, I think main tank should be in charge of pathing for the team. That's up to you guys,
Sombra left side somewhere.
but I think that makes the most sense because main tanks always have an opinion on that.
Pulling Sombra.
Shitter. Oh, you see her.
She's TP. They're all top left.
Flanking
Got her.
hog. Wow.
Doom's
Doom's
weak
also
over
top
here as
left.
well, but I'm weaker.
Nope. I'm coming up. I'm a finder, dude. Don't even worry about
I
it.
honestly... Okay, so why are we running Hanzo here?
I don't know. He just swapped.
That shouldn't be happening.
I don't think he called for maybe for more shield. I think he just felt like he wasn't going to get anything done on Widow. I
Yeah.
think that's why.
Okay.
I think that's what it was.
Well, honestly, like, fucking put his ass on Brig then.
No.
I mean,
If you can't
it's
play Widow, play Brig.
probably the move here. I'm trying to think of what's better. Honestly, you know what might be better? Sombra,
He could. Yeah.
right? Like what you
All three of our
need.
DPS have been
Like
doing
what is Hanzo? I mean, Hanzo has damage, yes, but like if that's the case, you know, we have a lot of other options. Why not Pharah? What's, you know, like and why do we switch to Zen? They have this and this.
I think it was for the trance.
Yeah,
Maybe?
but what does trance do? They're gonna like grav EMP you. You're not gonna have anything. You're gonna live through it, but you're not gonna have any abilities. They're probably gonna anti you because you don't have a diva. Like what
Zen's the
is?
best hero in the game.
Like I think Mercy was the play here. I think you keep Mercy.
I think the nice thing about Mercy there is also she has the ability to go between high ground really
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah, she has the ability to get out of sticky situations. And I think honestly, Farah.
I think we didn't run Farah. We were trying not to. Farah, like Pharmacy, is one of our go-tos that we use.
You didn't want them to counterpick Widow on you?
I think we were just trying other things. Was the main thing.
Yeah, but you should try other things that are good. This just doesn't make any sense. That's the problem.
Yikes.
That's fair.
Yeah, that seems like a solo queue pick, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I mean I get the logic, and so I think Sim made this call in absence of a swap, in absence of a swap call that should have probably come from you.
Yeah.
But you need to sort of be in control of this, and this is part of it is just sort of like having a playbook for like how do we deal with specific matchups. And I think on this map against this composition, I think Farah Mercy does pretty well here.
Yeah.
Because you can deny all of this space for a Sombra to set up, right? Like a Sombra sets up and is hacking you guys or harassing you guys. Like fucking just shoot her a couple times. Shoot at her a couple times. She can't do anything. And the rest of them, they can't deal with you. Like the Ana pokes the Pharah and gives your Mercy Valk charge. But that's about it. Doomfist goes for a hero play for like a splash damage kill on a roof or something.
Oh, I'm fat, guys.
I
They're
think
coming
Sim was
for me.
maybe
I'm
also
so
thinking
fat.
Sonic
Yeah,
Arrow.
one.
Why are you there? I'm fat.
That might be it
That's
actually. Yeah, scouting out the Sombra.
Hold on.
All right. I think it's how we got the pick on the Sombra. Actually.
What is happening here? Like,
We're playing
Weeb is
way
in
too
a
split.
prime position to get picked here.
Yeah.
So you guys aren't communicating. I just don't see. This seems really disorganized in general.
Yes.
Oh, I'm fat, guys. They're coming for me. I'm too fat.
The Ana's one.
Why are you there? I'm fat.
See, why are you okay? That should never be that should never be happening. You should always
Yeah.
know why people are doing things at all times, and if they're not, then pull them back.
Yeah.
Fat,
generally
dude,
didn't
that's
really
it,
get
that's
off
it.
there.
It's because I'm fat.
I got the Sombra.
That's a good shield. You guys recovered.
Oh, yeah.
They
Nice.
didn't coordinate. They had a
I'm going
Lucio.
up
They should have been able to
again.
kill Weeb, no question.
Sorry, just it.
Zarya is
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah, that was really
stop
dangerous.
us?
I had his shield just so I could make sure he got out.
Yeah, I think the
And he
shield
just-
was
he
really
just goes
good.
back.
Top boys.
Just babysit that
he
card.
just goes back.
High ground honestly is fine.
I found. a
Yeah,
wild
like
Doomfist.
I think high ground was actually fine there. Because if they try and get up to steps, he can fall back. It's
That's
much
true, they don't-
safer. So like if you
they
saw
don't
him
have
down here,
dives.
you could just call him like just, you know, go up high ground.
Okay.
Or I think honestly the bigger thing that your hog never mind. It's fine here that he's holding up this early. But when they start pushing in, he needs to be by your Zen. Because that's his job. Like,
He's
so
healed.
a lot of this boils down to matchups. You need to understand what the pressure points of your composition are. So, like, one is, like, yes, we need to understand what kind of things deal with the stuff that they have. But at the same time, your off tank, like, regardless of, like, kind of what's happening compositionally, you need to understand that the off tank's optimal role is to peel. whether it be Diva, whether it be Hog, Zarya, not so much. But like those two especially, you need to know that like you need to identify the pressure points of your composition. And it's going to be your Zen, of course. Your Zen, maybe your Kree, maybe your Ana. But your Hog is going to need to be ready to peel for those guys.
On my journey.
And also, there's no reason for Phobia to be playing payload here. Like, 100% get on the high ground.
Yeah.
Over still, boys. He's getting ready to over still, boys. He's getting ready to dive you,
Also, I don't like that Sonic Arrow. Because you should be putting it in places where Sombra might be going through to try and... Because their Sombra right now should be farming EMP charge on you guys. And so, like, she could be in your backline right now on someone, hacking them and or killing, like, getting them low. And yes, you will not lose the fight because of it, but she's going to get free EMP charge. So, Sonic Arrow should be used to deny that. She died? I saw the Doomfist just died, but I think their Sombra's been... Oh, okay, you killed her here.
Yeah.
Sorry, just it.
So she gets respawned at like 49.
Doomfist top left. Doomfist escaping. Man, I can't heal y'all.
I'm coming up top, boys.
And...
Just babysit that card, Reese.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's not Gara's fine.
I found a wild Doomfist on my journey.
But their Sombra should be like right at the choke now. And so the next Sonic Arrow should go onto your supports. Yeah, she's right. She was like right over there.
You don't know where I am.
Yeah, she's through. I think she's through the choke.
Yeah, she's not in the group there.
Are they gonna go main with this?
Here they come.
That's a horrible translocator from their Sombra.
They're EMPs.
Where's the Dia pull? Where's the Dia pull?
Pulling.
Dragoning, pull main.
No problem, Sim. Good luck on the interview. Wait,
No
okay.
worries, man.
So I didn't hear a discussion about what they're going to be using. We should assume that they have EMP. So how are they going to be using stuff here?
The Sombra's gonna come through the high ground. To
Probably.
scout things out first off.
Where? Like, just here, show me a route.
If I were her, since we're holding on the back end of the point, she's probably gonna come along this way. Since the card is further back. And then... I mean, the rest are gonna have to... They could take the high ground rotation, but they also know that we're watching there, so unless Sombra sees it's clear, they're probably not going to move Ryan through there. They've been going down main. Although we know which way they're going to go, too, because Sim is playing forward.
Just think about their Sombra for now. Don't worry about
Yeah.
the rest.
If I was a Sombra, yeah, I would take the back path to see where everybody's holding, where the supports are positioned. And then just get eyes on it and figure out.
Well, where do you think EMP is going to be coming from?
EMP, if I were her, I'd probably go through, like, the windows here over the Orisa.
Okay.
The point. Although we're not really grouped, so I don't know if she has a solid EMP target.
I think there are two options. I think that's one route. I think that's the safe route. And the other route is to go up through bank and up the backside of here, because there's still like reasonable space for the Sombra to work, and the Sombra potentially gets zoned if you guys fall back when their team pushes in, and then kind of maybe doesn't get a super good EMP off, but it also allows for probably a better EMP. So I'd say those are the two options, and you should be looking to cover at least one of them with Sonic Arrow. And again, you guys are in a prime position to get EMP'd, so like I don't think you guys are playing around it very well here.
Yeah, we're not.
Also, like the fact that you're playing on low ground means that they have EMP Shatter as an option again.
Yeah.
And if they're a good team, they are probably going to path up here. And honestly, yeah, I think they're probably going to path up here and then send Sombra over here to EMP you guys and then drop down and do shit to you.
That makes sense.
I think. I'm trying to think, like, I mean, they might also be able to just, like, path here and just drop straight out because I don't think that this open space is that good for them because you have so much more damage.
Fair.
I also think that Doomfist is kind of a weird choice here on attack. I mean, I don't know. He can play high low ground a lot, but I also think that the prime high ground is being contested pretty well by McCree.
I figured they would swap, especially once we got
Yeah.
a hog and a Kree.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't. But yeah, you should always be thinking about the routes that they're going to be taking, where the ults are going to be coming from, and that's about it. That's all you really have to figure out every fight, and then you need an answer. So, what's your answer then? We have about every ult.
I should be sitting back far enough from the team that I can drop a nano on
Yep.
the Orisa as it comes through.
Yep.
Kree could also be back on the high ground as well,
Yep.
out of EMP range, so he could also pop Deadeye as an
Yep.
option.
Mm-hmm.
If Hanzo manages to avoid it, we could also use dragons to zone while we recover from the hack.
Yeah. I agree. All of those
Um,
things. Yeah, and they all sort of don't get interrupted by EMP.
Yeah, all of those should be safe options.
Yeah, and so that's what the calls should have been, like literally right now, so that everyone kind of knows what they should be doing and where they should be setting up.
Yeah.
On my journey.
What? What do you want?
Yeah, there's a lot of dead
I'm
space in
coming
your
over still,
comms.
boys. He's getting ready to dive,
They're,
Yusuf. He's
they're
getting
in
all
their
set up.
spawn, by the way.
Yeah, they're scared of me, dude. They don't know where I am.
What the fuck was that bubble?
Are they gonna
Just
go
making
main
sure
with
shift
this?
key works.
Here they come.
Ye-
You ready for this nasty hook?
Yeah, like okay, so this Sonic Arrow,
I don't know why they're running Zarya either.
Sim, this Sonic Arrow,
Are they gonna go main with this?
you can literally see them.
But now we can all see them.
Yeah,
They come.
You ready for this nasty
Do you
hook?
think
I think I'm honestly putting a Sonic Arrow in bank, like on the high ground there, like
that
in
makes
those
sense? 'Cause
steps.
I think because we have eyes. Well, I mean, she'll be invisible, but we have other ways to spy check if she goes around the other side. But bank, we're kind of blind on.
They're EMPs.
Oh,
They're EMPs gotta be
Orisa
coming,
do
right?
pull? Orisa do pull?
Pulling.
Hey, that's a
I know.
We need to
Are they
coordinate
gonna go main
Yeah.
with
pulls
this?
more.
Here they come.
Yeah.
You ready for this nasty hook? Nasty
They're EMPs.
Oh,
They're
shit.
EMPs gotta be
Orisa
coming,
do
right?
pull?
I like the idea here. I actually think this is honestly a really good combo by you and Weeb. But what I think the problem is that the comms are too cluttered right now for you guys to really like cleanly get this combo off. Like I think you guys need to be making sure that there's like all of the conversation about what you guys are planning to do in the fight needs to have happened already so that Orisa and Hog can hear each other.
It wasn't
Orisa do
even a
pull?
recent hog. It
Wait.
was Sim was trying to make a call
Right,
for
for the
dragons.
dragon. But honestly, I think the hook combo is probably the better play here. Because if like Weeb, I feel like kind of baited you because he said he was going to be like, "Are you ready for this hook?" So you think, "Okay, I'm going to throw a halt out." I think what you did was completely reasonable. I think it was a good halt, and I think you would have killed their fucking Lucio before he could have even beated if Weeb had just stayed there and followed through on that play. I think that was a good. I think that was a good setup. I just don't think the follow through was very good.
Okay. Pulling.
Dragon, pull main.
Doom this.
Oh, that was a good play.
Ryan this for it. Oh, there's summer.
Yeah, that was a good. That was a good dragon. And we're using we're using pretty much everything
Yes.
but nano, which is fine probably. I don't think. Where was Nexus in all
Pulling.
this?
I don't know when we about to come out.
Did Nexus drop onto low ground?
Dragon, pull main.
No, he's right here.
No, Summer's on the Summer's in the back behind him right now.
Okay, I think that's fine. I think he should have been looking for Sombra. He wants to
Yeah.
Deadeye though. Honestly, I think.
Deadeye with bongos is pretty nice.
Where are you in all this, Adustus?
I'm
Are you like right
sitting-
there somewhere?
I'm sitting
Or are you-
on the high ground back here.
You're over there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you should have thrown Nano out for sure.
Doom this. Ryan this
We'd already
for
used
it.
so many.
Oh, there's summer behind
I think I was waiting for. I think I'm about to nano him when he nearly. dies.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Nexus dropped right before that Doomfist smashed him.
us.
That's why he went on the low ground. Okay.
No, what the fuck? Honestly.
Okay, you got it. I think it was a little late, but it was
Oh man, we threw down every ult.
Doomfist.
See ya, bitch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
but
I was
wait,
waiting to
anybody
see if they burned a lot. We'd make it I through had with to the
Don't
ults
wait
we
and
had.
see. You're gonna get halfway to you're gonna get halfway to Nano
Yes, I did.
just
Let me die.
following through the rest of that fight. Like
I,
that's actually a problem, a huge problem that we had with Aves, where he would hold on to Nano like indefinitely, like waiting to see like is it gonna be a waste if I dump Nano here? It's like that's not how Nano should ever be used in any meta. It should always
Dude.
be used as a counter tempo play. Like or a proactive tempo play, but it should be used in a tempo way. Like it shouldn't be used like Grav. Like it is literally one of the fastest ults to charge, and the good thing about it is that the earlier you use it, the more ult charge you can have going into the next fight.
just babysit.
That's
Just
fair.
babysit card. Omega.
Like the
ult.
Ana who nanos first is generally going to win
Die,
because
dude,
she's
just
going to get
fuck.
more nanos out than
I'm
you.
bad.
We're close to trans. We'll have trans for the next EMP, so that's huge.
And that's going to be true in general for most ults, but it's especially true for nano.
Doomfist top left.
Wait, let's hear what happens at the end of this fight. What you guys are calling for?
No.
Nothing. What the fuck? Ana's one.
What about?
Oh man, we threw down every ult.
See ya, bitch.
Yeah,
Alright, we
but
used
they.
way too many ults.
I need to They start burned a calling lot. here. I had to save the Orisa.
No.
Yes, I did.
Let me die.
No.
I
Going
just
back
babysit.
up.
Nanoing
card,
Orisa was definitely the
Omega
move. It just should have
ult.
happened earlier. I think, yeah,
Yeah,
you could have
we just had
potentially
one.
held on to it
I'm
if,
back.
like,
We're close to trans.
basically
We'll
you
have
guys
trans for the
managed to
next
clean
EMP, so
everybody
that's
up.
huge.
I have 4 legs. That's.
Yeah, I think we would have.
Sorry, left side,
We
left side.
would have
Alright,
won the
do
fight
left
without
side.
it. We just Doomfist might have top lost left. Orisa, and I didn't want They're to all top left. They're all top
Not
left.
have Orisa
Tim,
with the
he's gonna
fast
dive
engage.
you, but he won't see me.
They're all top left. Coming
I
behind
think you
them.
guys had both supports up, so
Gotta
there's
close them
no
off.
real reason
Doom
to...
weak. Doom weak.
Doom this.
Yeah, see, so they did take high ground. That was
Beat 'em
definitely the
over- beat
move
'em
from
over
the
here,
beginning for
boys.
them.
DPS
What
Summer
boys.
sleep,
a-
summer sleep.
Run this
Ooh, they're kind of... I like actually...
Run anti, run anti.
Doom
I
weak,
like
Doom
what they're
weak,
doing
Doom
right
weak.
now.
Oh, there's Doom.
They just took a fuckload of damage, though. How is their Reinhardt still alive?
You literally fucking missed.
Everybody's
After all
dead.
Yeah,
that.
it's I know. Yeah, I missed.
God, your like, your team's comms right now are so shitty.
Yes.
Like, EMP was at no point called here. When they were here, they should have EMP'd you guys. Like, you should have gotten EMP'd here, and you should have lost the fight because you didn't have any plan to deal with it.
I think I
Beat
slept
'em,
before
beat
she
'em over
EMP'd.
here, boys. DPS
Summer-
boys.
Oh!
That's what it was. She came out of Invis and
Was she back here?
No, she was
she
behind
was,
me.
She was in here with us.
Okay, okay.
She's come from. She's come
Nice
from
play,
behind.
dude. Yep, I
And
guess
I-
that's why it didn't happen. You should have pushed on him.
Summer sleep, summer sleep.
Run
Beat
this
'em over here.
Run one, run one.
Run anti, run anti.
Doom weak, Doom weak, Doom 1 HP.
You guys need a target caller, dude.
Ana 1. Beat, go faster.
Yeah.
I say it every single
He's
time I do
back.
VOD reviews for you
literally
guys. You
fucking-
need
you missed.
a target
Yeah,
caller because
it's-
like
I know, yeah, I missed.
this could have been a clean
now
fight
you're
where you didn't
gonna
lose
kill me.
anybody.
Oh my god, why did you go now?
Pocket of your
Combo
life.
1.
Fine.
I've been target calling, but I wasn't in this map.
Right.
MP.
We also lost our
I can try to leave.
our ult tracker.
Oh my god, the comms are so shit. Wait, did you interrupt EMP with a sleep dart?
MP.
Lucio.
No. Okay.
I can try to leave.
He's asleep, he's asleep.
Leave, I hate you.
It was already going out.
No, no, no,
But now I
no.
couldn't
fuck
do
you.
anything
But
about
By-
I
it.
ended
just-
the sleep from like the fucking.
For the record, I'll just explain how this works. I feel like most of you probably already know. Anyone who's played Ana, if you throw the damage out before the sleep dart hits, you will not wake up the target. If you woke up a sleeping target, it is because you threw damage out after the sleep dart connected. So if anyone ever tells you, I was shooting before the sleep dart went out, that's bullshit. That's not how it works. It's always worked like that.
I couldn't do anything about it. Look at
I
it. Look
slept
at
her. I
Obia's
slept her from
DPS
fucking
god.
third point.
Hey, I still got gold to limb, so obviously I'm carrying. Obviously. I'm throwing so
Pulling?
Alright,
Alright,
we can do a pull
I don't
dragons
know why
here.
they
We can
EMP'd the
pull them
last
in.
fight though.
Orisa, back
Yeah.
up, back up. I'm gonna shoot it right
Yeah,
now.
they stay asleep in midair. Yes, they do.
As
They
soon
do
as
stay
get to
asleep
there,
in midair.
I'm shooting it. Pull them into,
I'm gonna hook
pull
him
them
out
into
of
the
it.
middle of the road, okay?
Run disc.
No, you just okay.
Let's see. So this is Yeah, I won't say anything else about the positioning because I think I've said everything. Like, still high ground is the best thing here. That's like the
Yeah.
thing, no matter where, like on, that's why this area is so important to control because like at no point in a push will this ever be a bad place to hold.
Yeah.
Um, but what? So we know they used EMP in that fight, and you guys won the last fight mostly. So they're probably not going to be rolling into the ults that they used on the prior fight. What are they going to have this fight?
They haven't used Grav in a long time.
Means they have Grav.
Yeah.
Where are they going to use Grav? Or how are they going to use Grav?
They're going to use Grav. I mean, if they're on the ground, they're going to use Grav on the ground.
Okay, this is the kind of shit Aves does, and it drives me crazy. Like, it's like grab them when you can, or like go in and go for a grab. Like, think about specifically the space. Be specific. Like, where are good places to grab? How are they going to push in? Where are they going to hold? Like, what's good for them? Like, think about where their Zarya is going to set up, be able to push in safely, and be like, okay, we can win from here. I'm going to grab.
If they see that we're holding low ground, they can go up top and get above us, pick the Grav spot, and then drop on us.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
probably land an anti as well.
Yeah.
Even if they go mange, they can drop Grav on the high ground and pull the DPS like over the edge, and just make them easy pickings.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Uh. Yeah. Jin's in my chat, and he said they're that they can send Doom up top. I mean, Sombra's definitely going up top. Like, we should definitely assume that.
She's running through our
Although,
backline right
actually,
now.
now that I think about it, the way Doom is generally run in these compositions, they tend to keep Doomfist with the team, but that is sort of more against goats. So, I think Doom has more options here. So yeah, Doom up top isn't necessarily bad here. I think you guys have so many tools to deal with Doomfist that if he's not constantly in LOS of their team, then he kind of gets zoned and doesn't get as much value potentially. But
We have 4 CCs to use on him.
yeah, I don't think he also has that many options on low ground. I think him going after your Zen is probably what's going to happen. So like at this moment, your Roadhog and your McCree need to know where your Zen is, and they need to be in a place to protect him.
Okay.
But yeah, so yes, they're probably going to go high ground for an anti. So that means what? How do you deal with that?
To go high ground for an anti,
Or for grav anti?
I mean, we've got Halt and Hook to pull them off. We
Yeah,
can
I
use
mean, chances
we
are
can
if they're on the high
use-
ground, they're already
we can use
like
dragons to zone them off of the high ground.
maybe.
Because they're kind of putting themselves into a tighter space.
What does that buy you?
Buys time. If we put them in the right place, we could potentially split them and get a pick or two.
How?
Uh,
Think
how?
simpler. Think simpler. If your plans have too many variables, then you need to either rethink. You need to change your plans, or you need to specify. Like the fact that there are a lot of conditional things happening here should be telling you that you should be going for a simpler play.
We put the dragons. I mean, we put them in the spot that forces them to drop, basically.
But they want to do that anyways.
Fair.
That's the thing. What are some other things you could do?
So how do I? So without dragons, you mean?
Well, I don't think that's necessarily the optimal use for dragons here.
Okay.
But B, you need to just focus on that thing that we were saying before. Like, you need to think about what they want to do, and then what do we do about that? Like, don't worry about sort of like a... Because I feel like sort of like, okay, well, maybe we get like a dragon, split them, and then do something else. I feel like that's kind of like a separate play, right? Like, I mean, I guess, yes, that's a proactive play, which is good.
We Sonic high ground, so they know that we're going there, or we know if they go there.
Okay.
We
Can I throw out an idea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
And this might be absolutely terrible, but considering the time that they have, and considering them wanting to take either this high ground or the high ground there, it might just be advantageous to back up to here
Hmm.
and to actually just hold, because we can use the natural cover of this building right here to deny EMP from like dropping down here. Or if the Sombra wants to flank all the way backwards, we'll be able to easily spy checker into the tighter corridors.
Okay. Okay, so let's sort of take the general parts of that, because there are a lot of parts I think that are good from that. So the idea here is to control these chokes, right?
Yes.
What do we think, especially given how much time is on the clock? And this is going to be a radical idea about holding up here. First of all, they need to waste their time getting to you if they're going to grab. I mean, yeah, they can throw a grav up here, but you can just drop an Orisa shield in front of it if they don't do anything. We know they used EMP, so they don't have it. So if we just sit up here, what are they going to do?
They either have to group up on cart and try to just deny the damage, or they have to cross that open bridge to get to us.
Yeah, I mean, we
And
know
we
they have
need-
two routes, right? Like, they're either going to go here or they're going to go here. Chances are they don't have time to go here, so they're probably going to go with this one. Which should give you all the time in the world to use stuff on them. You guys are in the driver's seat here, not them, if you take the high ground.
We've got enough damage that we could get picks as they cross.
Yeah, you can go for halt hook combos. You know, you just making sure that you guys don't get knocked off is the key here. And that's pretty much it. Like, you guys win otherwise. So first of all, again, I think you deal with grab by positioning. So if you don't have an ult to deal with something that they have, the way you should be looking to deal with it is by positioning around it. Whether that means playing split, whether that means by playing around corners, playing high ground, it's usually going to be some combination of those things, or around walls. But you have to be careful about the way you're playing around walls. And yeah, you get one kill here, pretty much, and they lose their win condition. Like, you kill Zarya here, you kill Ana here, you kill Rein here. Like, their Rein goes down, they're fucked. I'd say probably the lower priority targets are, like, these guys right now. But everybody else is good. So just honestly staying up here until you kill somebody is the move. And saving, like, having Sim sit in the back if you feel like Grav is coming and they're in a position to act on it. Have him sit back and throw Dragon onto the Grav. Like, Dragoning the wrong Grav is, like, so good.
Mm-hmm.
Because they just, like, where's their follow-up? Or you can...
They all have to be close to do damage.
Yeah. And, like, you can also sort of, like, you can go for a split on low ground, potentially. I don't think you guys really have the composition to act on anybody quickly, but it's an option. Especially because they have such limited time to get there. But I think you have all of those options, and this is how you get proactive. Like, you figure out what they're gonna have to do, given their resources and what their composition is and how much time they have left, all of that stuff, and you put yourself in a position to deal with those things. That's how you maintain initiative.
Okay.
But I think Beryl, you can actually be a good key part of this. So, like, as long as you're setting the team up in the right places on maps, and you should be looking, like, every map that you guys are, like, playing, or, like, that's in your map pool or whatever, like, Beryl, you should go through them and figure out the places you want to hold on the compositions that you're running.
Okay.
Um,
I'll have to get with the Justice on that.
okay, yeah, I think that's actually a very good idea that you guys do that. And from there, basically, that should give you a good idea of how you want to be responding to the stuff they have. Because you should, like, if you find yourself time and time again on maps not being able to answer the stuff that they have, then it means that you're not in a good position. It means you need to find a different place to be holding on that map.
Especially for running a bunker.
Of course, yeah, it's super important on
Yeah.
bunker.
So obviously I'm carrying, obviously.
Oh my god, these comps are worthless.
Pulling?
Yes.
Alright, we can do a pull dragons here. We can pull them in. Or say back up, back up. I'm gonna shoot it right down main. As soon as they get to the staircase is where I'm shooting it, pull them into pull
I
them
think
into
that's
pull them
fine.
in.
I just think it's
No, you just okay.
greedy.
Well, we gotta wait now.
Because that's what happens, right? Oh no.
Anti,
Pull them card.
I can't transfer that.
Sorry,
Oh no. Oh no.
I'm coming for you.
Oh no.
You said live by trans.
I thought you guys had this in the bag, dude.
We did. Then we just. It turns out there was a hole in the bag.
Close.
I'm just being fat.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, I thought you guys had this even with like not so good positioning. That's rough.
Yeah, it was definitely our fight to lose. They went into it as a 5v6.
Oh, and Sim is here. Sim should have died here.
There's no TP up here.
Stop left.
A good Doomfist kills that Hanzo. And their Sombra, if she's good, has EMP at this point. Yeah, okay, there it is.
Didn't get him. Get away from me,
Right to sleep.
No Doomfist can kill you. Alright, man. Once your team starts ranking up, you're gonna find that changing.
He says right after Doomfist killed him.
I can trans out.
Like, dude, we were playing against a team that was running Hackfist, and they had top 5, both of their DPS players were top 500s, and it was fucking scary. It was scary. We had, like, we literally couldn't deal with it.
They're on IT. Fuck 'em up.
Big.
Should need no ults here.
Fuck him up is the best call.
Should need no ults, it's 30 seconds, this last fight, fuck it.
There you go. Where'd the Doom go?
There's one more fight.
He's gonna be needing 3.
Hold close.
This is where we throw everything.
What? No. If you do, there's no way. Yeah, there's no way you guys lose this. If you lose this, I'm gonna be so
I meant throw
upset.
everything like I meant throw everything like throw all
Oh,
our
okay.
rolls, not throw the game.
Nano noon.
Yeah, you can use stuff here.
Ryan discard it. He's dead.
Okay. Yeah, there's like physically no way they can win this.
Oh, they see we say on it.
Nah.
The Lucio's too
You
bad.
couldn't even C9 it if you wanted to.
Lucio carry.
It's just not possible.
All right, hell yeah.
Challenge accepted.
Alright, yeah. You guys held it, which is good, but
From that
yeah,
quad
you
DPS
could have.
that
You could have ended that on streets for sure.
Or
Doom killed you.
we run Zarya.
You got slept, and then Doom
Run Zarya double sniper.
I want to live in the world that Sim lives in.
Or why Ryan versus
I
Hawk.
too would like to live in a world where I'm
Is
having the shit
Sim
beat
in
out of
chat
me
or
by
something?
giant
Yeah,
people.
he's in my chat.
Okay.
I always have and always will fucking
Who's
hate
Kola on
Doomfist.
the
I think
Dragons?
I think
I've
he's a
never
fucking
seen him.
bullshit hero.
He's their main
I think
support.
Sim
What are
agrees
you
with
talking
you.
about?
Really?
Literally have never seen him.
I like Doomfist.
He's played every game.
I hate the one-shot mechanic on supports. It's just if he's properly pocketed with like okay, so I should show you guys some VODs of our team. We don't really deal with Doomfist that well, to be fair, but like if he gets nanos, if he gets pocketed, if he gets bubbles, if he gets armor packed, like it's such fucking bullshit. I hate it so much.
He has so much like built-in
He's their
sustain
main
already.
support.
Yeah, and
You
it's
add
and
anything to
mechanic
it.
like Widow has to get headshots. That's not super easy.
Doomfist
Good
has
Widows
some
will get them
body
reliably, and that's frustrating, but you can play around it. Like Doomfist is just bullshit easy. Like I'm salty. My salt is seeping at this point, but I think it's
DM's last
the
name
the
is
skill
Bay.
input requirement for the value of output that you get for Doomfist is way out of balance. I think for
I
him
would
and
say
Brig,
he's not an aim dependent character, but he does get punished really hard.
Yeah, I think that's the one reason I feel okay about it is that he has to get close, and so it's easy to just like fuck him
No,
up.
corner,
compared to
right
Widow.
corner.
I don't know. Good Doomfist use terrain in ways that you can't do that, and when he gets pocketed, you have to overcommit to him and you throw. Oh, they held close on goats.
Yeah, but then they're a good Doomfist.
I think Doomfist has counterplay, which is what I hate about Sombra. Is I feel like there's not a whole lot of
Oh,
counterplay. to
Sombra's
Sombra.
super busted. Yeah, in organized play, Sombra's super busted, which is something I told my team as soon as I started coaching for them, which was like months ago, like at the beginning of the year. This was before Sombra Goats was a thing. She's just
this
always been
playing-
busted.
Is this playing over and over again on purpose?
Yeah, I want to see like why we didn't know what was happening.
Somber top right. Somber top right. Nexus, can you jump with me onto this roof? Sonar that shit. Sonar that top
Shanghai's the
right
best
building
team
right
in the
here.
world.
She threw trans
Let's
out.
do it.
Fucking bitch.
Rhino corner, Rhino corner, Rhino
She's still
corner.
here. She's still with me onto this roof. Sonar that shit. Sonar that top right building right here.
She trans.
I'm trying to decide if I like this Sonic Arrow. I actually don't. Given the meta, I don't think you should be using Sonic Arrow like this. I think you should be using it on this building for exactly this reason. Because a lot of the times they won't be holding around this corner, they'll be holding in this room. And in that situation, if they're holding in this room, Sim gets the fuck off a Widow and switches to Junkrat.
Hounds that room.
Yeah, and I think you also have the option of. No, I understand Sim. I think but the fact that they're a goats team, you need to be knowing if they're holding close. That's just what you need to do. Because since you guys aren't running goats, you're going to get absolutely steamrolled. And obviously that's what happens, but that should be your default. So a lot of times what teams will do is they'll run one of their players on Sombra, scout, and then run back or TP back to the team to make sure that they're not holding close. But making sure you're scouting like if the map has a hold close option, you need to be scouting it before you go out.
Scout before you go out.
Fucking bitch.
Rhino corner, Rhino corner, Rhino
She's still
corner.
here.
Yeah,
She's still
that
here.
was.
See you run.
I can't see you, Widow.
Oh, that's.
Oh, that charge was bad, Barrel.
That was.
I know.
Fuck?
They're down tired.
This is where I start throwing the game.
You didn't throw it.
Alright, they're playing goats.
You didn't throw that.
Go up
The
there
whole
and give me a
team
little bit
did.
of charge. Go,
Yeah.
go,
We threw
speak low.
together.
Come a little
Alright,
kiss. Come a little kiss.
Adus's.
Lee Pharmacy.
Little kiss,
You
yeah?
accelerated your death,
Sorry,
which was good.
Give you a kiss.
I'm not
Yeah,
dealing with
you
this.
just didn't want to get staggered.
Come out the top with me. Come out the top.
And
with
maybe
me.
you get all charge out of it. Honestly, I think that might be close to optimal.
Where 6 arms throw harder than one.
Although I
Barrel,
think
you
actually
can't-
swinging hammer on their whole team builds ult charge faster for you. You should have just walked into him, swung hammer until you died.
Brain dead charging into the enemy team on Ryan is my bit. I don't like you taking my bit.
That's why he's replacing me.
I really like the swap to Pharah here. I really like the swap to Pharah.
Yeah.
My stop inside.
Zari's one.
Oh, how did we use projected barrier here?
Summer's outside. Nice up.
We doesn't play Zarya enough because we bubbled. Oh my goodness. We bubbled, backed up before Bubble even really took any damage, and then bubbled the Reinhardt while his shield was up, while he wasn't pushing in, and wasn't really taking much damage either. So basically blew both defensive cooldowns. You can't really do much aggressively here. Which is fine because you've got Pharah, Hanzo, so you're really just kind of looking to spam them out anyways, but like honestly, like get your Rein in there. Use bubbles like Weeb if you're listening to this at any point and you get a chance to play Zarya again, you should be bubbling your Reinhardt only when the enemy Reinhardt or some other damage heavy hero has fully committed. And I don't know if this Reinhardt's by himself. Like, I mean, maybe we can say that. It's still early here, though. Like, you know, he's like he can still probably he's probably gonna back off because he's gonna notice that he's completely by himself. But also you need to be sort of like using your bubble when you're pushing forward. Like you should be using it and pushing ahead of shield in this position, especially because they're falling back. Like using bubbles here in general is not going to be good because their composition versus your composition should identify that they need to play passively. So bubbling yourself and just standing there is generally not going to generate any ult charge for you. Like you need to kind of get in there and force them to damage you. So make sure you're using your bubbles in that way.
My stop inside.
And see now I mean, yes, we don't have it for anti, but like I also just think that the bubbles were pretty low value. And see their Reinhardt kind of backed off for a second, got healed up, probably got armor packed, and then pushed back in. Especially and you know what they were calming, right? Zarya no ally, Zarya no personal push.
Zari's one.
I'm on Zarya.
Oh, I got her.
Best armor's fucking around.
Oh. Just got brick bombed. Nice.
Yeah.
Nexus, on Nexus.
I'm getting close to grab.
Are you
That was a
over?
nice boop.
Nexus.
God,
That was a
no.
really nice boop.
I didn't get booed twice. Still around the corner. Still around the corner.
I'm coming also so you can fly to me. Aren't there Ana pushed off right now?
They're getting pushed back.
Yeah, I honestly
I'm
switching to Zarya Diva or Ryan Diva here would have been potentially the play,
no.
and just like holding up on the house and tasing them just while your DPS push them out. But also, we used to run compositions like this all the time. I'm sure
mean,
we
like, did you
ran
mean Winston
compositions
Diva
like
or
this
Ryan
against
Diva?
you guys. Like, but this would probably be Sombra and not Hanzo. Like, although on this map, I think Hanzo probably makes more sense. But like, the point is that when you guys are playing a composition like this into a composition like this, your tanks need to play passively. So Beryl, you need to identify very early if you're playing against goats and what kind of damage heroes you have, and you need to play passively and wait for them to open up obvious opportunities, because there's not much that these guys can do to you without exposing themselves to your damage heroes. And at the same time, you also don't have the frontline presence because of these damage heroes. So just play slower, like play more slowly, be passive.
Oh, bye.
Go, go, go.
Oh,
go,
that
go, go,
Get out of here.
Weeb, if I ever see you bubble a sleeping ally again, I'm gonna have a Dustis like suspend you or something. Don't do that.
Get away too soon. Get away too soon.
Ooh. Oh no.
Nice.
Yeah,
Get
I
back?
grab.
You can't get back.
Ugh.
It's not
Keep
worth
charging.
it. Someone's right on me. You can grab
That
if
makes
you
things
want.
so rough.
We lose this.
They have
No, we
bees,
can win this. We
that's
have
the
picks.
one.
Oh.
Oh, bye.
Go, go, go.
Because unless they have something that can one shot, there's nothing that your bubble will do for them. Honestly, what you should have done is waited for them to receive chip damage, bubbled them immediately, and then they can get out and use the bubble for its value here. If anything, honestly, the one thing that they can use to one shot is a Reinhardt, and he just pins the bubble and lands the pin before or as the bubble expires.
Go, go, go,
gotta
go,
get outta
go,
here.
go. I did it way too soon.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that you went in barrel, but the team kind of see this is the problem, right? Like you're dying super early in every fight, and it's because of what I'm talking about. Like you can't play aggressively into this comp, and I know the situation called for you sort of to do something there. But I more am pointing this out sort of so that you understand this matchup a little bit better. And I'm not saying what you did here was necessarily a misplay. But this is why you need to play slowly, because the team can't follow up with you in the same way that their composition can follow up with their
We can win this.
Reinhardt.
We have picks. Do it.
There's no way you can win this.
Yeah, there's.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah.
Oh, you used combo. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, we baited him in.
Me my ult too.
The picks. I think the picks were irrelevant. I think the fact it's the call should have just been like we have combo. Like
She's AFK. You know she ran.
What do you want, Cat?
They're gonna come back and touch the Lucio.
if their Lucio touches, it's a throw. Yeah.
Oh, it's still a throw. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a huge. So that's what I was telling you guys. So let's see where you had the payload when they died. Okay, past the bridge, right? What I was saying, past the bridge, they shouldn't be recontesting because they're giving up all positioning that they should have. Because they also should be trying to set up high ground on you guys. Because they should be trying to deny that from Pharah. And now they've given up that opportunity.
Where are you?
I can maybe kill Ana here. She's AFK.
So now they have to hold low ground against you. They're gonna have to be super passive, and you guys just get to do whatever you want with them.
Back and touch the Lucio.
This is actually a great
Didn't make it.
example of what I was talking about.
He's one.
It's nice being occasionally right about stuff.
Hashtag humble brag.
Summer.
Yeah, see, like that, like
She's so
Ooh.
so
like their
Oh, nice
positioning is
brag.
horrible.
What's up,
Like,
Pinks? Come here, baby.
fuck.
Yoink, yoink.
Where you going? Where you going, baby?
God damn it, Weeb.
Weeb is hilarious.
Yeah.
I actually I think it's
I'm
really
on left
important,
side. I'm gonna try
seriously,
right
to have
here.
people like Weeb on the
He's
team just
still
because it
hanging
keeps the
out.
team from
You
getting
wanna do
tilted
that?
and
You wanna
keeps
do that?
morale high.
I can ult right here. I can ult right
They're
here.
Ryan Depth slash Shatter.
Yep.
Yeah, I think ult's good here. It was a little late.
I got slept. I got slept and they beat. Alright, we got EMP and beat out though. We got EMP.
Yeah, so the problem, Sim, with using Barrage in a way that is for value, which I feel like is the way that you used to hear because you delayed it, is that you have no real protection. Like, unless Nano comes out onto you and you get the bubble and you get Mercy pocketed, you're pretty much dying or getting slept right away. So you need to be looking just to get a kill or 2 kills maybe, but more importantly, you should be looking to pretty much just like, live through at least half of the barrage. And you should be looking to do it in that way. So a lot of the times you're just going to be looking to get a cheeky barrage, or you put them in a position with like your spam damage to soften them up, and you use like sort of your spam, you and your Hanzo spam damage to soften them up. You take a flank route and just barrage the shit out of them. Like you need to take them by surprise here and get a kill. Or I should say, you need to barrage them to get a kill.
Worth it for that ult,
And
honestly.
Shatter.
You don't need that. He did get the brig out of it, but it wasn't enough.
Not good.
You also should have identified that EMP was coming.
Just
And
just nano
prioritize the
nano
Sombra,
Ryan for
probably.
sustain when they push onto him. Just
Yeah,
because
so
they don't
again,
need
To be honest, aggressively like
playing, so again, it's like, yeah, you guys do sort of have to play around Sombra, but so how would you do it with the composition you're running now?
We don't really have a way to check for her too well. We don't have a diva. We don't have.
And
Okay.
maybe we
really
have Sonic Arrow. I mean, I can like
Yeah.
swing my hammer a little bit, but she's obviously gonna stay out of range of that. So
So what would you
Yeah.
what do you do? I don't think they really had an
I guess
opportunity
we
to
I guess we
establish
try
their
to get
Sombra
the-
and get
I guess we try
value.
to get the picks with it. I guess we try to get the picks with it that would make it so they can't win a fight even if they EMP.
Uh-huh.
I'm at.
Yeah, and so what sort of positioning and play style would that require from you guys?
something passive,
Yeah.
playing around a corner.
Yeah, really good call. Like, just play back. Like, use the sightlines. Just play really slow, wait to establish clear advantage, and only go in when you've got clear advantage. That way, if they use
That's what we
EMP...
should've done.
What's
If
that?
everybody on the ground had been running back,
Mhm.
it would have baited them in. They would have been watching them, and they wouldn't have thought about the Pharah.
Oh, yeah, you could have for sure barraged here. Yeah.
Yeah. If
So-
everybody else had pulled back, it would have baited them.
Yeah, and so like that's what your calling should be like. It should be pacing the team and giving everybody a good idea of how they should be pushing. Like so, it's like tanks play slow. Like just look to spam them out here. Like just keep pushing. We build ults. Like etc. etc.
we did yesterday.
Like play safe. Don't play in a range where you can get engaged on because you don't have a Lucio. If they EMP Lucio speed onto you, you lose.
I'm hacked.
Grand tire.
That was a really nice peel shatter.
Somber weak. Good TPO.
Yeah.
Loading. Oh, behind.
Wasn't enough though.
I'm hacked.
Grand tire.
Was not enough.
Well, they
It
yeah.
wasn't enough to win the fight, is all.
It was a really nice peel shatter though.
Somber weak. Good TPO.
Because you
Loading.
yeah.
Oh, behind.
It's because it's goats, and you tried to play on point with goats. Well, yes, you tried to play on point with goats.
I mean, I also have ult again.
You just can't do it.
Stop
So,
being
a
bad.
big part of this, and it's I think I tried to do it every time I go over maps with you guys, is to sort of like acknowledge the matchup and sort of like identify the play style that you need to be having based on what you have versus what they have. Like you need to make sure you understand that before you take any engagement. Like you need to understand the matchup. And so if there are other players on the team that you feel like also have a good handle on that Adustus, like use them, like talk to them about this in the map.
I think there's one thing that hurts.
Yeah, Lucio.
Is missing deputy.
I'm going for that
hurt her, like,
boy.
tracking a
Got
lot.
that boy.
Somber top
Somber
left.
left.
I have no speed to get out now.
But you guys should
can ult
honestly
that
just
here,
push
boys.
yourselves together, like when you guys watch
Watch-
VOD
watch-
reviews
watch-
together
Yeah.
or VODs
You're
together,
taking too much
like
damage, taking too much
I
damage.
can bubble
you
you.
know,
I
like
can
what's
bubble you.
how should
I
we
don't
be
do
playing this?
Maybe
You know, it's
true.
I
like
don't see you. I don't see you. Alright, I see you now.
that was good. That was good.
Big.
That's exactly what I was talking about. Like they're kind of on the back foot. They got softened up. They can't really do anything. Just clean the fight up with Barrage.
I'm
It's
going
totally
for it.
fine.
Fucking fast. I can
Please
still
tell me you
bubble
guys don't keep
doing it.
this.
Somber's right here. I found her.
Yeah, their whole
Direct hit 1 HP.
Fuck
Are you
yeah,
just
dude.
eating-
Indian sounds
Let's
good.
go.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hey, Lazy, did you end up getting Indian for lunch
Bait him out,
tomorrow?
bait him out.
No, he wasn't available.
Baited.
Well, I'm gonna wait for him to get aggressive
I'm
again.
fuck. I'd be
baited.
fucking pissed.
Try and bait him to be
Yeah.
aggressive.
Man.
Gotta
Wait,
get
he's
the
the one that
back.
asked?
Ryan as well.
Well, he wasn't available at the time that I was gonna
Oh,
be free.
fuck, I tried to boop him.
Mm.
Gotta get
I'm
that curry,
working
dude.
from home in the mornings because I'm dealing with the.
Yeah, you
I'm
know how to hack
taking
me,
care of the
boy.
dogs
Come
until
on.
the until we
Hey,
get
let me
them
jump
to
off the
daycare.
map.
I get stagger pretty bad here.
They use speed there. Tell them to get aggressive again.
Honestly, the real problem is you guys tried to run this comp into this point.
Yeah.
Like, well, what does your Rhine do here besides get shit on? They have goats. They have goats.
Ryan shits on them first.
And the area is okay. I don't think it works like that.
He who shits first shits last.
He who shits first shits hardest.
Rather to shit rather than be shat upon. I think yeah, so again, Barrel, yeah, you needed to and even if the team, even if Adustus is calling, like if you notice that you're dying super early in fights and you feel like you need to be more passive, like communicate that to the team. So that they understand they all need to be playing more slowly.
So does that indicate a swap, or does that just indicate
No.
a style change?
Yes, I think it does indicate a swap because I think Farah Mercy in this area is not good. Like I don't really know why we didn't swap as soon as we took the point. So if we replace these heroes, what would we replace them with?
Um,
Could we do our own Sombra?
yeah, our own. I mean, Sombra's never a bad pick,
Yep.
and she's a pretty good goats counter.
Yep. You will never hear an objection from me about Sombra.
Going with his playstyle, I'd say we either go for more burst damage, like a Kree or a Junk, just to keep the pressure and pick potential.
I think if you
or-
don't
or
have
Maid
a
them.
protect the McCree comp, I think McCree kind of gets run over here.
That's fair.
Potentially.
That
Could we
or
have picked
a
up
maid to
a
split them
Zen?
might be good.
I don't think
Uh,
I don't think Zen's good here. Because of what they're running. Because just like the fact that they have Sombra with EMP especially.
Well, assuming that he can press Q before she can. But
Well, but you're going to be going in with 0 ult charge, right?
oh,
you
yeah.
vastly overestimate my reflexes.
Oh.
What else?
Moira,
Support-wise.
Moira or Brig.
Moira
are
would
pretty
be
good against
okay.
Sombra. Like Moira can spy check pretty well.
Well, that's not why you're using Moira, though.
Sure, but she also like keeps the tanks up pretty well, and she doesn't lose
Moira
that
can't
much
spy
when
check,
she gets
really.
EMP'd.
Sim got the one I was thinking of. Lucio.
Lucio, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Lucio's what we end up doing.
Because you can control
we
engages
swap?
and disengages here.
Yeah.
And so you can actually match them in speed. And so, hey, finally, Barrel will stop getting shit on, maybe. Because you can actually get him. Because like they have a Lucio. Like, there's no way your Reinhardt can disengage from them. You need to literally kill them before they can get to him. That is the game that you needed to be playing this entire map. And since you haven't been playing it, Barrel has been dying at the beginning of basically every fight.
Yeah, but that's just part of the bait.
Yeah.
Like, look, we're on third point with
Yeah.
3 minutes left.
Solid feed 500 ult charge, be down one player bait.
Hey, but like, it's working.
I think Moira is yeah, okay. I think Moira is also a good call here because I think Moira is a character that gives while I don't think that you necessarily out heal them, I think that Moira's not worthless here, and that's really the most important thing. You guys have combo, so it's fine. Like you really don't like. There's not one hero that's gonna win this for you other than sort of what you have as your win condition. You basically just need to not die before you get close. And you just have to worry about. I mean, okay. So when you come back in, what are they gonna have? What are they gonna use?
They're gonna probably EMP shatter.
Yeah, they're probably gonna EMP shatter, maybe follow up with nano, and so that's what you have to worry about. Unless they they don't do they use it here? No, you guys just lose straight up.
Bait him to be aggressive.
No, they EMP.
I can boop the Ryan as well.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
now, and they just fucking dump nano like.
Yeah, you should not have hacked me, boy. Come on.
Hey, let me jump off the map.
He said, dying to the Sombra.
They just left me.
Okay, so they basically gave you this round.
They just
Yeah, you
left
should have
me.
just ran at the
Yeah,
card.
they gave you
Probably
this
using all
round.
the,
because you have
Please, no.
combo.
Bad stagger going
Sim
down.
get off of
Far
Pharaoh.
from the
The
card.
Dustus get off of Mercy.
Run at the card next time.
He will
Like
never
Ryan
get off
does
of
them.
Pharaoh.
Don't go the outside way at all.
We are about to have 6 ults.
Who gives a shit?
Okay, we're coming
What
up
is
on
Barrage
6
doing
ults.
here?
Yeah,
It
we've
does even
grabbed
less than it
Dragon
did
and
out
VP.
here.
Does anyone know if they
They're
have
even
V?
closer to the rockets.
Yeah, true,
They
true.
probably do, but
I almost would say let's Nano Barrage the Grav because they don't have a Diva.
Why
Dragon-
is
Dragon-
Nano
Bubble
Barrage
Dragon.
better than
They have
Dragons?
V. The Grav Dragon
Barrage
is
them as they come out of spawn on their
Because Sim
recontest.
gets to do it.
So Nano Hollow.
No, I mean,
Dustus, you need to be telling them what to do here.
Yes.
Crease 1, wait.
Shocker,
No, you
they
can't.
swapped
Shit, I couldn't see
McCree
you.
and zoned
Back
because
up,
because you
back,
have
back,
no
back.
space to fly in and no cover.
One
There
center.
is. There fuck here.
It kills it. It does the thing.
I don't even know why I'm selling Power. I guess just the
And
Barrage.
surprise, surprise, your Rhine gets shit on again. Okay, so you guys need to not be so greedy. Holding this and this is fine because that's your win condition. Never hold heroes because of Shatter. Never hold heroes because of Valk. Never hold Pharah because of Barrage. Nano is maybe justifiable. Honestly, the only ones that you should be for sure keeping. So keep. So on the list of keep, that's not legible. On the list of ults that you keep.
Grab
Beat.
Dragon. Oh, okay, just in general.
Trance.
Trans. Nano?
No, not Nano.
Grav.
The fact that you have it here is nice, but no, you Grav, EMP, and is that it?
Hold on. There's gotta be one more.
There's got to be more.
There's gotta be
I
one.
honestly don't think there are that many.
Riptire, baby.
I'm trying to think of. I mean, maybe it's a very
That
fringe.
big, maybe.
Sim's barrier.
Maybe Coalescence.
Maybe Bomb.
Sims Berry.
Maybe Bomb. It's very situational.
Bomb will fuck up a pharmacy.
Well, so Bomb is powerful if you're using it to peel. So the reason you would keep it is only for peel. If they have basically all their ults or like a big key ult and you have nothing to deal with it, keeping Bomb is actually pretty good. So in general, but I think I'm thinking other tank ults. No, I'm thinking other support ults. No, I'm thinking other DPS ults.
How about Blizzard?
Blade?
Depends on what you're playing into. If you're playing into Goat's Blade, does nothing. But if you're comboing it with like Nano or something, like maybe. So Blizzard,
Like-
yes.
Yeah, Blizzard on like especially on control points is like huge.
You can
What
VOD
else are
review
there?
my handwriting, Zim. Yeah, Blizzard is on that list. And I kind of want to say that's it. Like, there honestly are not many ults that are that will justify playing the wrong hero. So just keep that in mind.
We have
Valk
six
is
ults.
definitely not on that list, though.
Alright, so we can go for the Grav.
Like, the only
Nano
time you'd be
Barrage,
really
and then
doing
hold
it is if you have
the-
nothing. If you have nothing and it's really
the
important that you
console first.
try not to lose the next
Hold
fight.
the Grav
Are we
first.
ready? Let's go in on them. Make sure you bubble me.
Because the thing you need to keep in mind is that, like, you need to start building ult charge on the right hero.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking for
And so
that
even
number
if you
one.
win the fight, what it's going to do is
Now,
prolong you
great,
being
great.
on the wrong hero.
Nice.
Huge.
Alright. That's fine.
Cree on top, Cree on top.
What the hell was the hope there with that
I'm
shatter?
waiting.
That was like the
Yeah,
hardest
I'm-
read.
We're still pushing right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
can we get Farah?
Zarya?
Sorry, it was
No,
horribly
no,
positioned
Sable,
here.
Sable, Sable, Sable.
Kill the Rhine, kill the Rhine, kill the Rhine.
Push
Just
him,
grab
push
him,
him, push
grab,
him.
grab him out of spawn, grab him out of spawn.
Yep, I'm waiting for it.
He's beating early.
Got both supports in it. Got both supports in it.
Just do some
Oh.
McCree behind.
Slap, McCree slap.
Lucio.
Just
Lucio
Lucio
dragged
right
out
now.
though.
I think dragoning spawn earlier would have probably been better here.
Can we kill Rhine?
Because, like, I mean, and the idea there is obviously not to kill anybody. It's just to keep them locked out of the point, so that anybody
Yeah.
who actually gets through is just gonna die more quickly.
It buys you several seconds.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now Doom.
Vampire.
Nice.
There we go.
Yeah, it's pretty well done. I mean, I think you guys outplayed them. If that's any
Flawless.
consolation. But yeah, the stuff. I'm trying to think of the big things.
The comms got really shook up because we were bringing in new people and figuring out that synergy.
Yeah,
Crowd game. And
but
then
you
we
need
also
to.
lost.
The comms just kind of felt non-existent here. I mean, yes, I think the mid-fight calls were actually pretty good. So to give you credit there, I think that was good. And it's important to have that locked down because you need to be adjusting to stuff that's happening in fight. So I think the mid-fight calls were pretty good. So stuff for you guys to work on pre-fight. Pre-fight calls. And you need to be thinking about where they're going to be entering, where they're going to be pushing, what they're going to be using, and then responding to that. Pathing. And this is sort of part of the pre-fight, but not really, because I feel like Beryl should be in charge of this part. Pathing, setting up. Understanding.
All the bold letters.
Playing around matchups. Oh, math ups. Yeah.
Our last OCC game, I felt like we did that part really well.
Good.
I scouted them a bit ahead of time and figured out what they like doing, and so we went in with like a game plan of specifically how to counter their playstyle, and we 4-0'd them like really hard.
Nice. All
So I
right,
was
good
pretty
night, Sim.
happy with
Yeah, that's good. That was really good.
Pretty happy with the way that we played that one.
Good luck with the interview, Sim.
Yeah, good luck, man.
Yeah, so these are the big things, I think, like the common themes, like so getting your pre-fight calls on point, getting your pathing and setting up in the right places, controlling powerful space. Like, so that's how you should be thinking about it, Barrel. Like, you should be thinking like, what space here is the most powerful, and you know, how can I be setting myself up in a way to either deny that from them or secure it for us?
So what DPS do you think would have been better for that matchup there outside of Farah?
On third?
On third, yeah.
I think Sombra would have been fine. I think Doomfist probably would have been okay. I think Tracer would have maybe been alright. I mean, they're running goats, so it's kind of hard.
They're running well. So at that point,
McCree's...
they dropped the Sombra for Kree.
Yeah, so I think swapping McCree would have probably been okay. I don't think Genji does much into that.
It's hard for him to like chew through people. He gets his blade fast, but I'm not sure he really gets.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, what does he do when he gets it?
Kills everyone.
He does not. I can't remember. I don't know if how many times you guys have used blade into goats, but it does not generally go very well.
That's fair.
You get hacked. You get shattered.
You get shield bashed.
Bubbles.
You get pinned.
You get shield bashed.
You get shield bashed. The thing that you're hacking gets bubbled, and then you just get antied and die generally. I'm trying to think like. The other option is like just fucking put another DPS in, or put another tank in there, like Hog or something.
That's fair.
Like just just point presence, establish point presence.
But we're getting ready for that 2/2/2 lock.
Or Torb. I actually kind of like Torb.
On attack?
Yeah, like I think Torb would have been okay there. Like set up, like what are they going to contest it with, Sombra? Like set up a turret far left or far right on the high.
If you put Kree out of his, or if you put it out of Kree's LOS.
Yeah, like honestly, I think Torb would have been fine because like Torb kind of fucks on goats. May also would have been good. Get a wall up, split him.
Yeah.
And since you guys like playing off-meta wonky shit, I think that should be in the list. I think. Oh, the composition I was going to tell you about, just to not debate you guys. So just to get back onto streets, the composition I think that we are running, or that we will be running here on attack, is going to be Orisa,
Mm-hmm.
Hog, Diva, Moira, Lucio, and Widow. With this one being
So
potentially flexed.
so Widow basically takes angles while the tanks make them fight on a point with a lot of healing.
Yeah. Yeah, we just sit on point, ride the payload. If they take high ground, then we halt hook people. If they try and push us on payload, they're probably just going to lose that fight because we have so much sustain.
Interesting. And then the whole time Widow is picking them apart while they focus on.
Yeah, and the idea here is if they're running DPS and Orisa comps, which is what we think they're going to be running, the way that their DPS get value is to take high ground, right? So in order for them to get value on high ground, they need to be in halt range. So you halt hook anybody who's up here, and once you establish that you can hit those combos, then they stop going for places where they can contest you, meaning that you probably just push them back into this space, and you basically just force them to fight on point with a composition that fights pretty much. It pretty much beats everything on point. So the idea is that we started on triple here, and if they stay goats or swap to goats, then we stay on triple and continue to counter them and win through here. But if they switch to something other than goats, then that's the comp we swap to.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's
So
the composition.
what's the triple DPS that you run? For first point there.
We run Orisa, Farah, Sombra, of course, and Widow. So pretty standard.
Okay.
And then
We
Farah potentially gets swapped with like Hanzo.
we ran a quad on Dorado in the last OCC match,
Mm.
and I felt really bad about it because we mostly did it kind of for fun,
Mm-hmm.
and it accidentally ended up working really well.
What was the
I'm not sure if it was because it surprised him. So it was Orisa,
Farah, Hanzo, Widow?
Orisa. We started with the Farah, but then the Farah actually changed to Tracer pretty early on because they had a Widow that was
Yeah,
pressuring too much.
I like Tracer instead of Farah, and in
Um,
places where Farah gets zoned.
Tracer, and then I think it was Hanzo Widow, and then Bastion. And Mercy.
Your Bastion gets like no support.
You got enough.
Where was this?
This is Attack Dorado.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see it working. Where did you run it first?
We ran out. We ended up running it through the whole map
Jesus Christ.
because they just never
Couldn't
figured
answer
out how
it.
to stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
that can definitely happen, but it just sounds like a team that doesn't have a lot of experience.
I think it was a thing where we were so off meta that they just didn't have a plan for it, and they didn't
Yeah.
have the ability to adapt.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for them, but good for you guys.
It
Like,
got us a
I
win.
think you
It
guys
got
did
us
a good
map
job.
win that we didn't really need.
I mean, yeah, I think it's just like overwhelming damage. Like if they don't know how to position around that, then they just lose. So they obviously don't know how to position around spam damage on the maps that they play, which is unlucky for them, but kind of, that's a
Yeah.
big mistake going into a tournament, not knowing how to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad it worked. Against good
Same.
teams, they're gonna play around that though.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was really fun while it worked.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean it's like how Element Mystic and Clockwork Vendetta must have felt like the first seasons that their shit like worked, because it's like you kind of just got to do whatever you wanted and it worked really well.
so Element Mystic is the Hack Fist, yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And then
Okay.
Clockwork Vendetta is the Orisa,
Like-
Tor, May, Ana, Lucio, Hog.
So the comp that we've been kind of working with a lot that I think has been pretty flexible for a lot of maps and has worked pretty well on them. We've been doing Orisa Hog, Pharah Ash with a Merciana.
On what map?
It's been working on a fair amount of maps
Huh.
for us. Um, it's been I don't know. I feel like we've been getting more value out of that as kind of like a mobile bunker with
Mobile,
like
you
Pharaoh
say?
support. More mobile than having a bastion,
Okay.
meaning that we don't sacrifice damage when we rotate.
More mobile. Yes. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's something that's working just through mechanics or if it's
It's
something
possible.
that we can genuinely.
That's why Clockwork Vendetta worked because of mechanics, and that worked in contenders. So
That's fair.
I think mechanics can carry you pretty much about as high as most players could possibly hope to get.
That's fair.
Um, yeah, I mean, I would have to see the map to talk to speak to whether or not I thought it was like a good
Yeah.
pick. Because I think sort of like there's generally going to be a play style that works best and like doesn't get counterpicked as easily. But I mean, if it's working, man, fucking run it, get good at it, and take it as far as you can go. And then when it stops working, figure out why it's not working, and then make changes. Like, I don't think there's any reason to necessarily be meta slaves if that's not your thing.
Yeah.
If you
We
feel like
definitely.
something's working,
Yeah.
like specialize, like learn how to play it well, commit to it.
And I think that's the thing. I think we really do specialize in pick comps, and so I want to just find ways to make pick comps work on every map if we can.
Okay. I mean,
Um,
I'm surprised that style. I guess that sort of the meta where that is not possible is sort of coming to a close. So
yeah, and we've been having some luck breaking goats teams with it.
what? Because it
Um,
dynamite and early bobs. And what's the
was
other
that?
what's the other DPS you run? It's Ash and what?
Uh, it's Ash. We also do a Hanzo sometimes as well. Like we also do like a Rein Zarya Hanzo variant sometimes as well.
But you said Orisa Hog and what?
Orisa Hog and then Ash, or we also do Hanzo or Kree if we feel like we need them instead, based on what
Hey,
they're running.
real quick, I gotta duck out. Thanks for the view, Toots. Good luck.
Yeah, no
Catch you
problem,
guys later.
man. Take
All
care.
right, lazy.
Later.
Uh,
Um,
wait, but what's the default?
our default Ash and Hanzo have been the
Ash
most
Hanzo.
common.
Okay,
I'd
okay,
say
okay.
I would say Ash is probably the most common.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, no, I could see that working against goats. Yeah, because if you can keep it at arm's length, you can shield break, and if they're pathing, your pathing just needs to be good. And I think at lower SRs, not to say that you guys are much lower than we are, but at against inexperienced teams, they don't know how to path around damage, and teams that don't know how to path around damage just get destroyed, even on goats, especially on goats, honestly.
Yeah,
Like you
as
kind
well
of
as
need to
Ursa.
like do VOD review and look at the map and like figure out routing
Yeah.
to beat spam damage if you're playing goats. So like that's yeah, I mean I could definitely see that working.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
so
I'm gonna try to figure out. So next playoff match is on Tuesday.
mhm.
I'm trying to figure out what I should do the most
Do you know the
leading
map
up to that.
pool?
So for the playoffs, they're letting we can pick anything that's in the map pool.
Oh.
So we don't have definite maps. I'd been preparing like strategies for maps each week, but for the playoffs, it's a free for all.
I would say for each pick, like for each category or whatever, like because there's rounds. I'm guessing loser picks map on the next one.
Yeah,
Uh,
highest seed picks the first map, and then
yeah.
loser picks each map after.
So what I think you should do is focus on 2 maps from each round, and it should be the map that you plan on choosing if you get to choose it, and make sure that you know all the places that you're holding, what compositions you're running on each point of the map, what possible counter picks are, and what the playstyle needs to be. I would also do the same thing for the maps that you feel like you're weakest at in that pool. And that's all you should have to do. If you have time, I guess
Fair.
focus on the sort of the second weakest and so on. But make sure you know what you're going to do if it's your pick. on the map that you're choosing, and so just make sure that you know like that Barrel knows what places to hold on each point of those maps. And so it's like the matchups; those are the two most important things: knowing what your pathing looks like, where you're holding, and how to play the matchup. And once you get those two things set, like sorted out, your calls will get easier. It will be easier to sort of figure out, like you'll have more options based on where you are, and you'll also have a kind of a default script of what you need to be doing against what they're running.
Okay.
And then from there, it's just going to be important that you keep sort of like a clear head in the game, and can process the information that's coming your way. But you need to do what you do in comp, and that's predict what they're going to be using in the next fight and where.
Okay.
But yeah, those
I'll
are
try to
the
pick those. I'll try
and
to
make
pick
sure
those
you're
up before I
like
go to bed tonight.
try and make sure your comms are better. Like
Yeah.
make sure like that people are scouting rather than just kind of like bullshitting around. Make sure everybody knows what's happening at the end of the next fight. Make sure you're getting reset calls early enough. Make sure you're getting focus fire calls, because I can tell you right now that a team that does all the things you guys do but just has target calling is going to beat you on the basis of focus fire.
Yes.
So make sure that I don't know if you want to have Barrel doing it or someone else like your Zen or whatever, or Sim, but like just make sure you're doing that. And yeah, I think that's all I would. Those are the few things I would try and focus on for the next stuff, the next things you have.
I do have one more question.
Yeah, what's up?
On Paris, do you think that the Bastion bunker isn't as good of a defense as people have been? Because like that was like what everybody was doing when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that it's weaker than initially thought?
Not really. I think it's really good.
Okay.
If you hold close, it's important that you hold close and don't let them through the choke.
Yeah.
And if you do let them through the choke, you need to have a plan of what you're going to be doing, and you also need to know where you're rotating back to, which is going to be to the left side. Like if you're on defense side, like you fall back, rotate to the left, and then just fall back into that left room and fight out of there.
Okay.
And then yeah, you just need to know that your priority is to not let them through choke. So I think as long as you play it right, I think it's super hard to beat.
Okay.
Because like if they have spam heroes, like Bastion zones them all out. There's like no sightlines that are safe from Bastion. It's kind of like Hanamura.
That's fair.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's strong. And if you guys are thinking about using it or have been using it, I don't think there's any reason to deviate from that.
We have been. I'm just trying to figure out if there's something better we could be doing,
I
or if
don't think
there's.
so. I think like the DPS you pair it with might, I think Torb is potentially a good option. I think
Yeah.
Widow is potentially a good option. Junkrat too, of course. Maybe Kree, but yeah, I think those are or Sombra. You could
I
also,
mean, Sombra's always a good pick at this
yeah,
point.
I'm trying to think if you could potentially consider Sombra as well for your off tank, but I think probably having Diva or Hog there is more important. I think Diva probably.
Yeah, it just helps to be able to eat that damage.
Yeah.
I really want to work on our rotations with Shield DM and the Invuln.
Yeah, I think
Because
it's
if you
really
get
hard to do that composition. Just like your cooldowns need to be good, your rotations need to be really good. But if you get that,
if you
it's
get the if you get the rotation on those cooldowns like
the
down
other
right, you can buy
consideration
so
for
much
running
time.
Sombra in your other DPS slot is so that you have EMP on your contest on point B.
That's fair. 'Cause
And
that
I
can
think
shut down the
actually
first.
Bastion ult is maybe another one that you keep Bastion for in terms of like staying on the wrong hero.
Do you think keeping the Bastion like to do bunker on second point is still viable?
If they have ults, yeah, I think you should keep it and just hold on that backup point if they don't have
Okay.
something that can hard punish that position.
Okay.
Like if they have EMP, your Bastion's just gonna need to pop tank coming out of spawn. So yeah, you need to play it a little differently, but I think it's fine.
Okay. Just looking through the map pool and seeing if there's anything else I know.
Yeah, sure.
We still haven't figured out Havana entirely.
Yeah, triple DPS Orisa is a really good way to go there. Like double sniper Sombra. Generally, it's hard to go wrong with that.
We haven't tried that yet.
Yeah. Do that. It's good. I think that's what we run. If we don't, then I'll probably put us onto that soon.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's just really good. I mean, you can consider other heroes on defense, but on attack, I think that's really good.
I think I prefer the double sniper to like a Bastion bunker.
Oh yeah.
For defense on it. Like
You're
I'll just
just
run
asking for
Bastions.
trouble. You're just like asking to get like fucked with. I think Bastion can work there. I just think it's harder.
He can, yeah. I think the problem is that once it's broken, it's a lot harder to get him in a
Yeah.
useful position than
There's just
Hanzo
so many
Hero.
ways to like force weird rotations because like the problem with Havana is that when you get pushed out of first in one place, you like the next place for you to rotate to is kind of in open space to get
Yeah.
there. And so you kind of that's the goal is to kind of like force that rotation and then fuck you while you get there with, most likely triple or quad DPS. So
That's fair.
it's just you kind of want things that force less awkward rotations and not having a bastion is a good way for that.
I think mostly I'm just gonna. So the team we're playing is a team that we played earlier on, and we lost to them, literally in an overtime fight on Havana. It came down to that.
Mm.
So I want to watch our VODs back. I think we are playing better now than we were back then. We were having a lot of issues. We had to forfeit our first match because my internet like
Oh yeah,
literally
I
died.
remember hearing.
It was really frustrating.
Yeah.
But I think we can beat these guys.
Oh yeah. Winnable.
Definitely winnable.
Hello, winnable.
Map 1, map 3, map 4. Okay, he didn't get map 2 out of it.
Hey,
Oh, he
Toots.
did.
What's up?
Hey, thanks for the tips today, man. I'll definitely
Yeah.
take those to heart, and I'll definitely start working on taking more control of the team. I think.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear like that you sort of are being proactive. That's always a good sign. Especially, I mean, just because it's like you guys are kind of on your own, so it's like it's up to you guys to push yourselves, and so it's good to have that kind of attitude. And yeah, you're more than welcome. And if you have any questions in the future, like that are like, I mean, you don't have to wait for me to come in and do VOD reviews to ask for my opinion or advice on something. Like, just send me a DM or whatever. Like, if you guys want to like ask me a question, like if you have a clip that you want me to take a look at or something, just post it in your Discord and at me, and I'll take a look at it.
All right, man. I appreciate that.
Sure thing.
Also, Beryl, just so you know, because I'm not sure if you know the VOD that we watched and VODs for like every scrim that we do, Lazy uploads to his channel, and so there's a link to it in the VODs channel on the Discord.
Okay.
Nice.
Dope. I like it.
Yeah, so you can find like all of the scrims and stuff there.
So with his time, is he still going to be able to like record VODs, even though he?
maybe not, but if he isn't able to, like I also stream all of them and Sim streams most of them, and so we'll always have those as well. And then I mean, then we also get the replay system now, so that's nice.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah,
it's so
but
nice
you
to have
can't
replays.
you can't save any of the replays, can you?
I think they get wiped at the end of the season.
Yeah, if nothing else, you can screen record them if there's no way to save them
Exactly. Yeah,
directly.
you guys. So even if you have first person perspective, like this, what you could probably have what you could have maximum 12 people going into game and watching a replay together.
Yeah,
You could literally just physically, yeah. So if you guys ever want to do that, uh, you know, let me. Or wait, no, no, you can't. Yeah, so you'd have to screen share and just have one person go through it, right? There's not a lobby.
that
Fuck.
might actually be better because then you can literally like move the camera to go look at whatever we
Uh-huh.
need to.
Yeah, you can look at people's cooldowns. You can answer all kinds of questions.
That might actually be better than using a recording then. Huh.
Yep. I mean, the problem is that it takes extra time,
Yeah.
but it should be something that you guys do for like in depth.
Interesting. Oh, resets every patch.
Oh, every patch. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's every couple weeks. So we got to do it pretty fast.
Yeah, they're gonna probably improve that where it's like multiple people can go into it and you can save replays. Like, hopefully
I
they'll
hope so.
implement all that.
Either way, it's huge.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think sorting out the comm structure will be a big thing. We have been doing better at it, but now we've got to make these changes. Yeah. I'm gonna try to work with Barrel specifically, like when we're in game, on like, hey, we want to do this. How do you want to get there? just have them path us, and then Sim's doing mid fight calls pretty well. Deputy has been tracking ults really well when we have him. I think we'll be good.
All
Everybody
right.
should be really focused on this too. I think everybody like really wants to win these playoffs.
Yeah, fuck yeah. And let me know like post something up when you guys are playing. I'll check you guys out if I'm free, or at least check the VOD
Oh yeah, we'll probably be playing. Actually,
if it's
so
getting streamed.
we're playing at 9 EST. So you might be done with your stuff by then.
9 p.m.
9 p.m. EST.
What day?
Yeah. Tuesday.
I think we're scrimming, but I might be able to catch the second half of it.
Yeah, you scrim earlier in the.
Yeah,
you
we're
scrim
8
at
to
8
10.
usually, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you might be able to catch some of it. Unless we beat them really fast.
Hey, that'd be nice.
And Shanghai beat Vancouver an hour ahead of schedule.
Hell yeah.
You will have Skyfall for that Tuesday game, right?
Yeah, we should, and we'll also
Okay,
have
good.
Lazy if neither can make it. Yeah, we should be covered. We should be all right. That's another nice thing is we are getting enough people in here that we have better coverage than we've had.
Nice.
Okay.
Um,
Because my off days are usually Mondays and Wednesdays, as odd as that seems.
Mondays and Wednesdays. Keep that in mind. Maybe we can do. Maybe I can push next week's game to be on Wednesday or on Monday. Because if we do, I guess it comes down to if we actually win this one. If we win this one, then we play another. Ugh. Okay, cool. So good to know. So Tuesday, I'll need to check with Sky and make sure that we'll have her. And if not, then make sure Lazy's available. We should have 6 though. Tuesdays are usually solid for most of the guys. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, I think that's solid. I'll hit you up with anything else if I think of it.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah,
Thanks
thanks for
again,
doing this.
dudes.
Yeah, sure thing. Have a good night, guys.
All right, good
Good
night.
night. Good night.
All right. It's a PC thing only. Yeah, I guess I would like double check to see if you need to do anything like, I don't know, like validate your account in some way. Um but other than that, I think it might take some time to update. I don't know. Like I thought it updated like pretty quickly once the leaderboard is out. Um But yeah, just double check to see sort of how the leaderboard works on console. I don't know enough about it to tell you, unfortunately. But congrats, dude. You're getting up there. Yeah, then who knows? If you just finish those 4 games, maybe it'll take some time to register that. I don't know what there's delays on and what updates quickly, so I oh, 20, 30 minutes? I would give it a day or two. I understand why you're antsy for it, but yeah, you might need to give it a day or two. But yeah, dude, don't worry about it. You got this. I'm gonna hop off. Might be back on for melee stuff in a little bit, but uh, I am off for now. Thank you so much for stopping by. It was good to see you, dude. And yeah, this is a kind of a cool VOD because you kind of get to see a lot of aspects of like team play, and I tried to be pretty comprehensive with these guys because they're getting ready for a tournament. So yeah, check that out if you're interested. But I will check you later, man. Take care, and hope you get back on that top 500 board, and hope to see you climbing. But yeah, take care, man. So long. Have a good one, and see you soon.